Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of the Suzette Speaks show. I am your host, TV host, and attorney, Suzette Speaks, coming to you live today from Miami, Florida. I am so excited about this guest. I just told her backstage that I even went and reached for my perfume to, to get ready as I prepared myself for this intimate conversation. She's no stranger to many of you, but if this is your first time on my channel, I want to welcome you. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. And I see some guests already in the chat. Let me go ahead and put up one super chat that really already blew my mind. O'Shea Duke Jackson, for my boo Courtney in the building. She commands that type of respect, y'all. So for her to say yes to my invitation to come for the very first time to the Suzette Speaks show, I'm honored with her presence. We are going to talk about the passing of the late, great Kevin Samuels tonight. Courtney Michelle knew him personally, had his phone number, had spoken to him. And when speaking about Kevin Samuels, I want to be transparent and very careful because I came to know him just within the last year. I'm not a student of Kevin Samuels. So a lot of his early work and a lot of his deeper messages are messages that I am just learning about in his passing. So tonight I wanted to dedicate a show to his memory with someone who had intimate knowledge of who he was and understood just by being both connected with him individually and serving on so many panels with him. You know, I wanted someone who could really speak from a very authentic place as to who he truly was. Why did I want to have this conversation? Well, y'all, I have been reading, like so many of you, all of the different reactions to the passing of Kevin Samuels. Now, some will take issue that I called him late great. I'm going to put respect on the dead tonight. But there are so many different opinions that I wanted to explore, especially based on the differences I've been seeing related to gender. I know my guest, Miss Courtney Michelle, won't be speaking for every woman, nor can she, and nor would she. She's going to be speaking from her own personal opinion. But it did strike me that there was such a vast chasm between how many men, not all, felt about Mr. Samuels and how many women, not all, felt about him and his message. And what I mean by that is, y'all, I saw on several panels that I watched, shout out to Gail at night, shout out to Dennis Sperling, shout out to TLA. When I watched some of the men who came upon those panels dedicated to Mr. Samuels, I saw a sense of pride. I saw a sense of admiration. I saw a sense of upliftment that they had from his message that I can just say flatly, I did not understand. As an image consultant, as someone who many who follow him say really stood for uplifting the image of the Black man and recreating it, taking it back from what the media has made it as, you know, something that is so negative to something where men could, you know, listen to and gain or regain a sense of pride from. I didn't understand that part of his message. To see that contrasted with how so many women took his message, and not all, some feeling as if, you know, his purpose was to bash and to tear down women, specifically Black women, and that he, you know, stood for, you know, division instead of unity. It just really struck me how one man could be so polarizing and have so many uh, adoring fans and critics at the same time. So I wanted to take some time tonight to uncover who he was, again, from someone who knew him personally. And I also thank you, O'Shea. I appreciate the love. I also wanted to take some time from a woman's perspective to hear just what she thought his message was, how that message impacted her personally. And from a woman's perspective, just one woman, what she believes his legacy truly will be. I hope y'all are ready for a deep conversation. Welcome, one and all. Again, hit the like button as you come in. Good evening to my speakers, those who are subscribed to my channel. I call them the Suzette Speaks speakers because we will open up the panel in just a little bit if you want to give your feedback as to, why the difference in interpretation. Was it a problem with the message? Was it a problem with the messenger? I was watching Dennis Sperling talk about how imperfect he was, and it did make me think, as to why I really don't like talking relationships. None of us is perfect, but can a perfect man tell you really what life is about? So, him being so transparent was a part of his legacy. Him being forthright in his opinions, very direct. Thank you, Queen Regina. I see you. Thank you so much. She says, my favorite two young women content creators on YouTube. Okay, we trying, Queen. But again, I wanted to approach this again for me to understand him more, to understand his message more, for someone who knew him and had dealt with him, had personal ties with him, and has been around much longer than I in this space here on YouTube, and could humanize him for us, for those of us who are just hearing the sound bites, for those of us who are just hearing, the montages for the first time and thinking that they are a complete picture of this man. No, no, no. Having now spent more time looking him up, looking some of his old work up, understanding from a different perspective, just from what others have said, listening to their tributes, I'm like, did I really know who the real Kevin Samuels was? Was it just hype? Or was it misogyny? Was it love for only Black men, or was it love for Black people? Was it a desire to unify, or was it a desire to divide? There are so many opinions that he elicits. But again, tonight, I am not here to judge a man. I'm here to listen and learn about how he impacted particularly women. In this conversation with I Am Courtney Michelle, you cannot deny her impact, having been around in the, say, we call it manosphere spaces, spoken about, dating, spoken about relationships, many of the same topics Mr. Samuels has tackled. But what I'm interested to hear from her is how his message impacted her and her life. Because like I said, every woman is different. Every woman is unique. I am not going to speak on his impact on me because I'm just getting to know who he was. But seeing my brothers respond the way they have, seeing my brothers cry on panels, I was like, I need to look a little deeper at who this person was. So we're not painting any perfect pictures. We're not, making a saint out of a person, because we're all human, and so was he. But I do want to uncover and unpack a little bit deeper than what mainstream media has been doing with respect to his legacy at this time. So I have, again, one of my favorite, you say it's your favorite, Queen Regina, one of my favorite YouTubers on tonight for this special exclusive edition with I Am Courtney Michelle. Please hit the like button as you come in so I can bring on my guest. If you do have time, I would love for many of you to come up, if you would like, and explain what he meant to you, because I feel like some of the messaging is either lost, misinterpreted, or are we not clear on his true mission? A lot of attention was paid to the confrontational interactions Mr. Samuels had. Was it people rejecting the truth, or was it women bashing? That's where I see, people falling along this spectrum. I think there are many men who also may have taken issue with his approach. I'm not going to say every man felt the same, but I do want this to be an opportunity from a woman who knew him, had experiences with him, interactions one-on-one with him, to actually speak on him from a personal level. And so we can remove ourselves from the sensational headlines, and we can try to understand really what made him tick and his purpose in this space, his legacy, and how I think it will carry forward. There are so many questions I have to ask her. Y'all get ready. Please welcome my guest. Without further ado, I really thank her for making the time to come on to the Suzette Speaks show. Y'all get ready. First of all, get my likes up, please. So, I got the wrong, Jesus Lord. I got full labels here. For this woman to come over here is a big deal. It's a very big deal. And I see if you're new, please consider subscribing. Again, thank you so much for having the time tonight, Courtney Michelle. Yes, I see O'Shea Duke Jackson in the chat. Thank you. I really, really, really want to put respect on how we approach this. And I know I have the right person to do that. Like him or hate him. There are so many voices around, who he was. So we're just taking one woman's opinion tonight, one woman's experience. Again, she's not going to speak for every woman, but I find her super intelligent, intriguing, very, very versatile in how she approaches topics. So I knew she was the right one to come give us some in-depth and unique perspectives on Mr. Kevin Samuels. So as you come in, hit the like button. And without further ado, I welcome for the first time to the Suzette Speaks show, none other than I am Courtney Michelle. Good evening.
Hey, that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You are worth it, sis. I am such an admirer. I welcome you. How you feeling tonight?
I feel good, and I'm excited to be here. Like I said, I'm a fan. I watch, and especially liking all your Instagram posts. And I find you very articulate, beautiful, intelligent, and it's an honor.
Thank you.
It's an absolute honor.
So
thank you,
an admirer. Equally.
Yeah, I am too. I was like a fan. Okay.
So, I was I told you I was spraying perfume ready for you, darling. I was like, okay, I got to get ready. But yes, tonight, in all seriousness, I invited Miss Courtney Michelle on, and we didn't know a topic until this happened. And I'm glad she said yes to this topic. I'm glad she said, there's nothing off limits with this topic. So first, before we dive in, just tell the people who you are. I want them to know what you do in these YouTube streets.
I run my mouth in these YouTube streets. That's what I do. But hi, everyone. My name is, Courtney Michelle. I am Courtney Michelle. You know me off the Lapeef Network. And I have my own channel as well. I am Courtney Michelle. So I runs my mouth.
Yeah, okay. She's being very modest, y'all, because I've been watching.
That's what I do.
She's like, I got an opinion and I share it. And I think that's something you guys had in common when it comes to, being very forthright, not being afraid. I've seen many comments about Mr. Samuels being bold. People knew his baggage, being twice married and, having a strained relationship with his daughter and all this stuff. It was out there, and still being bold enough to speak what he called his truth. So when is the first time you got to know who Kevin Samuels was?
Mm-hmm. So my introduction to Kevin Samuels was through my brother. And it was how many saw him, the average at best. And my brother was like, you need to watch this video. And I saw the clip and I was like taken aback, but I watched the show. And that's one thing we're probably going to get into is people watching it in its entirety. Then I did, and I was amazed how he spoke the truth. It just kind of changed my outlook. And the more that I watched, the more I became more introspective in a lot of things in my life. So through him, I found the Lapeef Network. And then
really?
I started calling in and them and spitting, talking about, I watched Kevin Samuels. And so that was, they was like, who is this girl? And that's how I started with Lapeef. So even I want to definitely thank him because he was my introduction, and I probably wouldn't have been on Lapeef if it wasn't for him.
Wow. So your brother, it was a guy who introduced me to him as well. Funny about that.
I
So
said,
that was
and it's
like,
usually a guy talking about you need to listen
you
to
know about
him.
this dude? Right. Had all my feelings hurt. Had all my feelings hurt. So when you saw those initial videos, were you offended? Did you cringe? Were you, taken aback? What was your initial reaction when you started to see some of his content?
I wasn't offended. And it could be how he speaks. I was raised with men. So I have three brothers, a dad, stepdad. So I wasn't offended. It hurt because a lot of things that he was speaking about was me. I have a daughter, unwed, so I didn't marry before I carried.
Mm-hmm.
I am over the wall. So these conversations, I had to lose weight. So every single thing that he talked about, um, as far as a critique and how we can get better, specifically as Black women, was areas in my life that I knew that I needed to do better in. And I knew that there was mistakes that I had made in the past, but trying to learn from them and how to move on from it. So yeah,
I'm
it
happy
was
to
some
hear that. And they talking about she do way more than running her mouth. She need to stop. I
okay.
have, trust me, I'm glancing over to the comments. I see y'all. I'm gonna try to put up as many as I can. Shout out to all those, and thank you for everyone watching. Thank you, Courtney Michelle, for being here. Again, this is an intimate conversation, fireside chat I'm having with the one and only Courtney Michelle. I'm so glad she accepted my invitation. This is again a very tough time for many people. And first of all, condolences to Mr. Samuel's family. I should have started that
Mhm.
way. Those who loved him, his fraternity brothers, those he had impact on. Again, Courtney Michelle, I was watching so many different streams about it, getting ready for this, and I was
Mhm.
like, people out here crying, men are crying, because of the impact that he had on them. So I was just like, so with all the other, which I say, range of opinions, I just kind of wanted to dig up a little bit more. Why is there
Mhm.
such a disparate impact of his message? So back to you. So your brother introduced you to him, you start watching it, you was like, let me level up. You took it in a, I guess, in a positive way. um
Mhm.
so when you how did you meet him personally? Let me ask you that.
So, so then I started being on the Lapeef network, and my very, very first episode on there, Kevin Samuels popped up. And
Mm.
so again, me being like a fan, really, I was like, Kevin
You didn't
Samuels.
do like
Oh,
me, girl. I almost had a convulsion when he came up.
did you? Okay, well, I don't. I was
I
trying to
was
keep
on
it
leave,
in.
girl. And he was like, Kevin Samuels is in the chat. And I was like, no, no. Like, I contorted it. Y'all want to go back and watch that? I might post that. That was actually a
You
memorable, almost like a
should.
historical moment. Now I'm like, Lord, I was part of history, and I didn't even want to be.
Right.
Caught me off guard.
You should. And because I watched that show and to look at my reaction, and I was just like, what? Like a deer in headlights.
Mm-hmm.
But how I got to know him, I guess personally, is because he would come onto the show, be in the chats, and having a relationship with Mr. Logic,
Yay,
with
Mr.
the
Logic.
guys,
Appreciate your love.
having relationships, with Anton and Jr. And he would kind of reach out to me, which he reached out to all of us on Lapeef. It was interesting. I felt like he kind of took us under his wings. And so the people on the show he cared for. And
Yeah.
to this day, I don't necessarily know why that he took us under his wings, but he did. And he would randomly kind of hit me up or send me a message. If he saw something that he didn't like, he would check me.
Like on the phone, like y'all texted or y'all.
Or yeah, or even like through IG
Oh
or
wow.
like a message. And because
Mm.
he'll be watching. And because you never know when he's watching. You never know. And that's one thing that he does. He'll just randomly pop up on his stream. So he's very aware of what was going on in the space. The conversations that we were having. And I definitely think that he wanted to be aware to see if there was any progression. What
Okay.
are we really talking about? Are we still talking about the same thing months in and months out? And I think for me, he would send me if I said something or maybe acted out of character.
Yeah.
He would check me. What the hell is wrong with you?
So what time period are we talking about? Like over what period of time, or when was this first this relationship first kind of like, cemented?
So he's my very first episode, and the episode that he was on, I want to say it's maybe last year, March
Oh
or
wow.
April. So
So
I
a
want to
good
say
year. I just
March,
Yeah, give people a little bit of a, time frame so they understand this is not a yesterday thing. You've known him for quite some time,
a little over a
relatively
year.
speaking. Yeah, a little over a year.
Hmm.
So you had this kind of, it sounds like mentorship type in the YouTube space. Did he give you personal tips in terms of dating and things like that?
Well, there was an occasion where he didn't tell me to lose weight, but he's, well, it
Ah,
was, it was like, um, well, I think he tried to maybe kind of correlate it to my ideas, and the rhetoric that I spill on my show on the Lapeep or anywhere. Um, he specifically was like, "Well, if you believe this, you shouldn't have a problem with finding a man, but let me tell you some things that's going to be a hurdle for you."
oh wow. So he gave you a little one-on-one kind
What?
of
Yeah,
truth telling. Like,
and it's
okay,
pretty much, you get your shit together.
yeah.
and
Wow.
and these are ways that you need to maybe improve and get yourself out there. um so yeah, so I guess that was more kind of like relationships, but it was more focused on me getting my stuff together, because it's like, you got your head right, but now let's work on some other aspects of you. So he
Mm.
would just throw out just stuff, and I think on a show I called him like a sensei, because he
Mm.
would give you some advice and then he would drop the mic and that's it. He's not
So
one for long conversations.
yeah, he would tell you what you need to do, tighten up, and move on.
And move on.
So it seemed like that was his personality, and it seems like it kind of correlates with what we saw in his actual interactions many times. That I think people weren't ready or used to or accustomed to that kind of direct in and out. This is what you need to hear, my brother, my sister, and move on. I think people, especially in our culture, many may argue, are used to being kind of, coddled,
Coddled.
and you use kit gloves with delivering information to, harder information in
Mm-hmm.
American society. People don't take kindly to those who are truth tellers. You gotta, I know I do it as an attorney. I be
Mm-hmm.
dancing all around, want to tell people what their real problem is, but it's like, okay, you're not
Yeah.
ready for this truth. Y'all hit the like button again. The one and only Courtney Michelle is here, speaking her truth in terms of what Kevin Samuels meant to her. We're just getting some background as to how their relationship developed and what he was like in real life. I
Yeah.
think I wanted to humanize him because, again, we were seeing, snippets of highlight reels and montages of savageness that I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people, I mean, I told people I was doing this interview and they were like, why are you doing that? So I
Really?
realized, yeah, feelings are very raw. Feelings are very raw, especially from my some of my women friends. They are they're like anybody who made a living, their words, not mine, their words, off of demeaning and humiliating and bashing Black women. How can you speak on? So I want to talk about that because I think, where do you think that type of interpretation of who he was comes from? Or do you think it's warranted? Because there were so many women that reacted that way. Even when I did the same night coverage, when the rumors were flying and people didn't know if it
Mm-hmm.
was even true, some of the reaction I got in the comments was raw. And I was just like, I'm not talking about him, the person. I'm not talking about him, the message. I just want to know, is this true? And we were
Mm-hmm.
almost like CNN like figuring it out. So why do you think some of our sisters are, you know, what should I say,
So,
harsh critics of his message?
well, first, let me say this. How he was on his show was how he was. So one thing I want people to know, that there wasn't an act, it wasn't a gimmick. How he spoke on his show is how he was. He was he matter of factly, the man knew what he knew. And if
Mm,
he believed a thing, he believed a thing, and there wasn't no changing. Um, and for that I respected him a lot, because it wasn't well, how you feel about this, and you know what, I think that you should. It was, do this
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And so that's who he was in real life. I think women, and particularly women that look like us, has never been criticized before.
Mm.
We never have.
Mm.
There's not a one person that you can tell me of. And let me ask you, Suzanne.
The tables turn already?
Yes.
Go ahead, sis.
Name one person, woman or man, that has been able to publicly criticize a Black woman and it be taken um, as in to help us and not harm.
One man. Hmm.
Or woman that
Mm.
was able to be criticize or critique the Black woman and specifically say, this is what we're doing wrong. This is how we're getting it wrong. This is how we're not getting the results that we want. Have a solution. And it was taken as anything but derogatory.
So you mean specifically as it pertains to dating, or just
Or
in general?
dating, health, how we look, our hair, our make anything, any critique.
Well, there's always going to be some pushback. Um, I'm trying to think about, Monique losing weight, and or the bonnets that she
And the
spoke on,
critique
and
that
how
she
that
got.
was received. I was trying to think of more popular versions or more known versions of
Mm-hmm.
people trying to do that. Um, but no, it's always controversial. It's
Right.
always controversial. I think there are people who do, try to speak to issues pertaining to Black women in a loving way. So it still would be met with some resistance, not just because it's for Black women, but I think a lot of Black women feel, not speaking for everybody,
Okay.
just from my friends and my personal experiences, that's all I know, that there has always been in American culture a an attempt to degrade or down or somehow marginalize Black women. So when people think that's what's happening, there's a put up your dukes right now, because we're used to people marginalizing us. We're used to people saying, or putting us in a certain subhuman category even. So I
Mm-hmm.
think even though it can be helpful, some people are very sensitive to it because it seems as if there's a historical piece that goes with that that seems to allow for it, that people are very heightened in terms of protecting. Does that make sense? I know it's my little
No,
legalese.
it does. It
Yeah.
does. And I can understand that because we've been marginalized and over sexualized, um, that we're sensitive to topics of criticism.
Hmm.
And I would say that two things can work together. We definitely understand our history as Black women, of how we've been portrayed.
Hmm.
However, we can't negate that how we've been portrayed is because of us. You
Hmm.
can't portray me as over sexualized when I am twerking everywhere. You can't portray me as being angry Black woman when you see me being angry Black woman with the attitudes. So we sometimes it's a stereotype, but sometimes there is an element of truth to the stereotype. But even though that we might have had that historically, it doesn't absolve us for being critiqued because we're not perfect.
Mm.
And if you look at us statistically, health wise, and that can go from BMI to stress, emotional trauma. If you see us as far as with relationships and the us being unwed and the babies, that deserves to be critiqued.
I'm digesting. I'm listening and I'm digesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna play,
Someone, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
devil's advocate in a sense, because I hear you. I'm not saying that I'm not negating you just to debate.
No.
I'm hearing what would other people say in response. So you're saying because there are elements of our Black women, elements within our Black female community, because I gotta
Hmm.
speak up because I'm like, me and my people don't run like, you know, we try to present ourselves, be ourselves in an authentic way, and represent ourselves
Mm-hmm.
well. But of course, I know, there are people who didn't grow up in the same type of environment, people with different morals. We're all Black, but we grow up different ways. So to say, there aren't elements within our culture that are not serving us is not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we get wrapped up in one big old nice, hoagie of, this is a problem with all Black women when it can't be. And we know we're not saying all, y'all, but it's very interesting that if we, and I'm hearing you say, if we highlight it, it gets kind of, you know, dismissed immediately, even though some of it, or maybe more than, we'd like to admit, would be helpful if we considered it, would be helpful for the community if we applied it in a sense when it comes to, and again, there's plenty of advice about Black men, but when it comes to
Yeah.
Black women, there are things that you feel that just, could apply. And even though they could, they get kind of shot down before we can even have the conversation.
Yeah. Shut
Mm,
down, cussed at. So even take the Monique. And understand that you are a woman that holds yourself to a high esteem. Like your aura admits that.
exactly.
However, if
Hmm.
you go to the airport and you see us and you see the bonnets, and when Monique's like, take them bonnets off, you're not at home sleep, you're in a public area, which again, I might not have a bonnet on, but I know when I see my sisters putting themselves in situations where we don't look look our best, then it does bother me.
Mm.
Let's just take the tipping random. I tip more usually sometimes. Cause and I think some for me, I'm community based, and I always know that when I step out, I not only represent me, I not only represent my family, my daughter, but I do represent a community.
Yeah.
When one Black person does it, then I know the majority are looking at us like nigga, that nigga shit. And and so I take image, it's important to me.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, we're not a monolith, and there's gonna be people within all different age ranges, socioeconomic ranges, educational levels, all of that, and we all get kind of branded as the Black woman, right? So there's so many elements that people can find evidence of what you're saying, and then there are elements that can show you that there's a whole different type of Black woman. But I hear what you're saying. It's like we got to address some of the problem areas in order to correct those, and everyone is very sensitive to that. So let me ask you, as a woman who seemingly took the advice of Kevin Samuels, like directly, can you reflect on, what it meant to you to hear, not even just in your personal conversations with him, but some of the videos? I know you say you weren't offended. Some of us, actually shed a tear. Hello.
Oh, hold on. Offended by the recent videos of him passing, or his videos
Oh
that
no,
he
his
himself.
own personal videos. Excuse
Oh,
me.
okay, his own personal
Yeah, we
videos.
don't get to what people are
Okay,
saying.
okay,
I'm talking about his authentic, his material, what
mm-hmm.
he was doing before his passing. Reflect on how you digested them, because I think, again, there are many people who will see the extent to which, the bad parts or the very, very volatile conversations get the highlighting, the play. So how did you kind of take the message away from, these kind of really, hot button exchanges? How were you able to reflect and use what was given to you to better yourself, as opposed to seeing it and being like, I got to dismiss this guy, he's not good for Black people, much less Black women?
Well, I started watching his content and preparing myself to wanting to be a wife. And me really coming to find out that I didn't know a damn thing about what men really wanted. I put my wants and what I wanted as a woman, thinking that the man also wanted that. So, I wanted someone highly intelligent. So I'm thinking, well, if they know that I have this career and this job, then that would make me top tier woman as far as the next woman that works at Arby's or Mickey D's. So,
Yeah, they was
conversational.
Foot Locker. Shout out to everyone working at Foot Locker.
Well, shout out. I used to work at Champs.
Not hating.
I used to Champs and Marshall. Shout out. But,
No,
So
everybody got to have a job. I'm just saying.
everybody got a job, right? But well, sometimes a lot of people do it. Your job sometimes dictate, how you think others should respond to you. Sometimes it dictates on how you feel about yourself. So it's a status thing.
Yeah.
And then coming to realize that that wasn't what men look for in a woman. It had nothing to do with your career that makes you a wife. Your higher education doesn't make you a wife. Now, it's definitely helpful, but when I'm coming into wanting to date a man or wanting to be with a man, he's not going to, yes, you are a wife because you went to college. It doesn't happen. And
Courtney, you
so,
stepping on toes now. Hold on now. Hold on now. Hold
oh,
on now.
come on.
Let's get there. Let's get there. Y'all hit the like button. Over 100 people watching live. Shout out to Courtney Michelle. Look how you bring people to the table, my dear. It's an honor to have her here, giving us her personal sentiments and reflections on the late Kevin Samuels, what he meant to her, having known him personally for more than a year, interacted with him on a one-on-one basis, getting checked by him when needed, and she's just giving us some insight into who he was as a person. And it sounds like the personality that we saw in his many videos, now famous or infamous, whichever you want to call them. But that was him. It wasn't him. Some people felt like it was an act. Some
Mm-hmm.
people felt like he brought the drama because he knows it would be clickbait or views, but it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like that he was pretty much in your interaction with him very similar to what you saw
Yeah.
online in his videos. So when we're talking about, I gotta just sidebar because I am Courtney Michelle is doing work here. When we talk about what men want, my dear,
Come
both
on.
single, never married, no kids. Okay, y'all.
Okay.
Why do
You
you
got some.
think? And I asked this on Gail at Night's channel, and
Mm-hmm.
this was during again a wonderful show she was doing, reflecting, letting the brothers just speak their mind, speak their heart. And again, it shocked me that their response to his passing was so starkly different than what we had been seeing online. And we're gonna get to that, y'all. Hit the like button as you come in, and please share and comment if you can. So why do you think women or of a certain age in a certain generation, I'm going to say between like say 30 and 50, why do you think we were not taught, or it was maybe not emphasized to us, the real facts of life
Mm-hmm.
about the importance of marriage, the importance of families, the importance of children? And again, I know every woman is not the same. I'm just talking for me and maybe my sister here. Maybe you did get the emphasis. Help me because I didn't get no emphasis. So I want to know. And I have many friends, colleagues,
Yeah.
associates now through YouTube who tell me the same thing. All I heard was books, career, get money, buy yourself your own, fill in the blank, take care of
Travel, see
yourself,
the world. Yeah.
get your own house, get your own car, and then figure out the relationship part. Or I think they thought, some of them meaning well, it would just happen. Why do you think there was such little emphasis on I want to say wife school? Hallelujah. I want to say that's how one of my guests, pastors, go back and watch my show. God Found My Husband and God Found My Wife. I did two incredible shows.
Mm-hmm.
But the lady who was on God Found My Husband, she holds something called Wife School. I was like, well, dang, you might need to, you might need to sell a course, miss, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean it to insult. I mean it in terms of like, again, life experience and reflection of me personally. Don't take it for yourselves, ladies. Just take it for me personally. Looking back, Courtney, was that first and foremost your experience? And if so, why do you think there was that de-emphasis or just lack of emphasis?
Um, it was a lack of training on, I think, women that are late 30s, 40s. Well, not no, let's go back. Late 20s, 30s, and maybe mid 40s. This generation that I'm in, it wasn't taught, because if you think, we were raised in the 80s. So what did the 80s bring? Besides
Yep.
the drugs, it brought fatherlessness.
Mm,
So I was raised to be able to survive without a man.
mm,
And I think that trickled in not needing a man. And so you have women my age that will happily say and very pridefully say, I don't need a man.
Mm.
So if I don't need you, then I'm not going to make it a priority to have one.
Wow.
And that's where we are. So if I don't need you, why do I have to work to get something that I don't need? And then I also, you touched on this too, especially being raised in the Black church, it was your husband's gonna come, your Boaz is gonna come. It was nothing
Child.
about me having to do anything for him. So
Mm.
here I am just sitting at home, waiting on the doorbell to ring. Wait,
Waiting
just
on the
I'm just
manna
gonna
from heaven.
go.
Hallelujah.
Jesus gonna bang me my Boaz. Thank you, Lord. So I'm, just over here waiting. Oh, he gonna come, or I'll go out. Maybe he'll be it. Maybe, and it was never anything for me. Courtney, why would someone want to marry you?
My Lord.
That was never asked. I never asked that of myself. I never asked an ex, why didn't you marry me? So these were conversations that we don't have, I didn't have, because again, who can hold us accountable? In order for me to do work, to make myself aware, I have to make myself, I got to get through some itch. I
Mm.
got to work through some stuff. And if it's,
Absolutely.
and with Kevin Samuels, he just made it very clear. And I know that he gets a lot of pushback, but he spoke, he was a voice to a lot of men. A lot of men wanted to say and wanted to have the kahunas to say it. And he was the one that did. And he wasn't shy about it. He made no qualms. He wasn't no coddle. It was, this is what men are wanting. And he spoke to a particular type of man, high
Yeah.
value, the 10%. But in general, whether high value or not, men want you to smile.
Lord, Courtney.
Men want you men to be friendly. Men want to be married to a woman that will be submissive. And not that you have to be submissive to every man, but if you're a feminine woman, then usually femininity comes with being submissive.
Mm.
And these ideas was, it's easy. So I thought, I was like, a man just wants you to be nice and be on, follow him, let him lead, let him be the man. And that
Nah, sis.
idea,
People fighting down they good
people,
Boazes. Oh my.
but do you
Mm.
realize when we talk about being submissive and letting a man lead, those are cuss words. So people don't even like when I say that. So imagine a man telling another one, those are cuss words.
Yeah. I think we misunderstand submission. And again, and I'm stepping on toes, my sisters in Christ, we say we follow Bible.
Mm-hmm.
We say we read Bible. We say we go church. Sorry, I
Mm-hmm.
get a little emotional. My hair, a little accent. Forgive me.
I hear it.
But but the part about headship, we forgot that part. I don't know. We forgot about that part.
Mm-hmm.
And DL, shout out to DL Saint. Thank you so much for always being so generous. A little something for the mobile kid. He want me to go on the road, Courtney Michelle. He's
Get
like,
on
no,
the road.
you need to go out here in Miami and deal with the thing. Salute to you, brother. Great show. Salute to Sister Courtney Michelle. Yeah. When I think about the knowledge I didn't get that is essential to life. And when I think about how much we are influenced by the church, where I think we are almost churching ourselves out of a husband.
Hello.
Help me, oh God, and I love Jesus.
Hello.
I love Jesus. I
I
love
do
him.
too.
But
He is
when I
my.
think about some of the lessons that are taught there, they are not practical for what you have described, which is you need to bring something to the table to help me, God. I'm not perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
again, some of this realization hit me in the face
Mm-hmm.
with a big, like, wow, think of it from a man's perspective. And I think it is something that we never really heard out loud, as you said, with the Kevin Samuels being bold enough not to care what anybody felt about it. But as you said, perhaps what a lot of men wanted to say. So do you think that is a trend that we can correct for with the next, women coming behind us that maybe even Mr. Samuels has a part in, which is not being, I heard one brother put it this way, not my words, book smart and life dumb. Help
Hmm.
me, oh God, because I thought,
Okay, I understand that
listen, the cornerstone of life and what's important, being family,
part.
being, legacy, people that we're working so hard for. Who is it? These careers, who are we working to impress?
Mhm.
Where's the money going to go when we pass? And speaking of, I have a show tomorrow talking about Mr. Samuel's assets, his digital assets with a
Mhm.
probate lawyer, Sandy B. Sorry, side note, tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Tune in, guys. So anyway, so I think about those lessons lost. So I hear you, survival. Most people in 80s, 90s had seen kind of the worst of our unfortunate drug war and other things that began to kind of disintegrate the fabric. I mean, but people will say, Courtney Michelle, but we had Cosby, we had Different World, we had, better representation on television. How come, we saw, different examples, Fresh Prince, wouldn't it, I don't know why wouldn't it penetrate that there's value in family, there's value in relationship. Why do you think there's a bigger systemic issue?
Well, the Cosbys was the Cosbys. But that was one show that made a huge impact. But again, when it came out, was it like the super late 80s and the 90s? Um, there was already some damage, if a bulk of damage done. And so
Mm,
seeing it on TV, and I remember my mother even telling me this, it seemed unrealistic. It
wow.
wasn't attainable. And so we saw the Cosbys as so as my mother did. I not necessarily, I don't think, I just saw it as TV. But saw it as something that was unattainable. A doctor and a lawyer, beautiful family together, not fighting. Um, it was something that it was like a dream world to her.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah, so we can, or for me, it's aspirational,
Yeah.
but we didn't have for every Cosby show. I mean, we had what was it, 90s?
Real life drama. First of all,
Right.
can I just address
So,
007? 007, welcome, but you don't know me, bruh. As like this is a whole show I wanted to do with Boss Attorney Bree. Shout out to Boss Attorney Bree who was on yesterday. We were talking about the stereotypes of being an attorney, being a woman attorney, and having people assume, like my brother here, that we don't believe in submission. Don't speak for me, bruh. I love you, but don't speak for me, because that's furthest from the truth than it could be. And when we were gonna do a show, me and Boss Attorney Bree, was like the stereotypes and the difficulties dating as an attorney. I'll probably
mhm.
have to set that one up just for my brother here, because I think that's another part of the difficulty of bringing Black men and Black women together. So you have this professional class of women, and some understanding or misunderstanding about who they are based on stereotypes and based on some truth too, brother. I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you. There are people that stank with it. I get it. But we are all not them. So please don't lump me in 007. Please
yeah.
don't let
But,
just a title or moniker. For people who watch my channel, y'all back me up. People who see my content, y'all back me up. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. I just had to
well, let's talk
interject
about
there.
that.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that
yeah,
because again, to bring it back to Kevin Samuels and men having a voice, I
yes,
think it's been men that's been tired of having the stereotype of ain't shit niggas.
yeah.
I think it's
Mm,
men is already they walk out with Tims and their thugs. They the Trayvon Martins with the hoods, and now I'm a gangbanger. So I get, and it's wanting to get out of these stereotypes, or for me, it's showing another image that is not represented.
hmm.
So with you, this is your catalyst to do it. He
Yeah, I
thinks
think
that
I'm
no,
trying.
you going right. And for me, it's I have a child. So
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
baby mama and
yeah.
so that's the
That
stereo and
whole
that's
they done paid a whole picture of you, sis, and I'm like, but
yeah.
you know me.
And I get it. And but how I fight it, and this is what Kevin Samuels told me, it's you fight these stereotypes by having a family.
Mm,
And Courtney, work on yourself. You need a husband.
mm,
And it's not the end all be all. And he
right.
never has said that. And I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. Having a child makes it harder.
Yeah.
And it makes you have to come to reality of what they'll say qualify for, but it is what it is. If a man wants to have a football team of children at my ripe age of 39, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Now I
Well,
might
we
can
got to
pop
be
out your
realistic.
one, God willing, Lord Jesus. But so it's that idea. So there's gonna be so that the percentage of men of what they want might look with your age, your sexual market value, if you have kids.
Mm,
So it's realizing who you are, what you have to give, and what it might not, what some men might not want, but it's okay. It's
mm.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Get
I hear
your
you,
stuff
sis.
together and you
So
can
yeah, I think again, there's a lot of people. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. First Gen Corp, you know you have a special place in my heart and here on my channel. Thank you for
thank
showing the
you.
love. He says,
Yes.
"Long live the Godfather." TLA and KS was my introduction to your channel. Hello, so it's grateful that you're here, brother. Been on my panels, bringing some wonderful, enlightened insights. And I'm grateful for your generosity tonight, my brother. Thank you so much. But yeah, they love him, Miss Courtney Michelle. A lot of
Oh,
love to
that's
you, sis.
sweet.
Uh, then we have, like I said, Inky, Dion, Kevin Samuels was a misogynist. I see both sides, y'all. I see
Well,
the feelings that are being elicited just from his content. So I'm glad you are seeing Courtney Michelle's way of kind of digesting what he was saying, and then we can start to bring a couple people up to digest
yeah.
why other people feel other ways.
Please, because that in itself, I think people throw out terms. Sometimes they don't even understand the definition. Okay. Massage is a whole hatred of women.
Right. Anti-woman.
So, in order for him to be anti-woman, he has to say men don't marry, run from the women. They are no good. No. And that was never his message. His message was always Black family. His
Mm,
message has always been women, if you get it wrong, teach the younger women so they don't make your mistakes. That's exactly what he told me to do.
yeah,
You
yeah,
need to
wow,
tell your story and be transparent to help so women won't have babies out of wedlock and have a nuclear family.
yeah.
So you can't hate women, but preach a word for women to marry black women to marry black men.
I think people are missing that. I don't think people
I
are
don't.
digging deep enough into the archives, if you will,
They won't, and they
to
won't.
get all of him. I think again, I'm learning that because again, there was so much that turned people off, got people kind of riled up, made was viral, and then all of a sudden it was like, but I saw how the brothers responded. He made me feel like a man. Like I almost felt like it was almost like a 1960s movement where I too am a man. I am a man,
Hmm.
black and proud. I was like, wow, they're getting a whole different message than what, mainstream media is promoting as his legacy. I'm like, there are black men that really, felt that they leveled up, felt that
Right.
they could, demand respect, felt that they could change their image, go after more money, demand something in a relationship because of Kevin Samuels. But it was so missed. I'm like, how can this be so missed? Again, what is sensational, what gets clicks is all that people sometimes see of a person. So that's what we're doing here tonight, y'all. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button, read a few comments. But here, BSP said, my parents are married for 40 years and still going strong. I asked my mother, what did she bring to the table? She replied, I bring peace and harmony. Shout out to your mom.
Come on, mama.
We got a whole word with just that.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it seems like again, what some may feel were his sentiments may not be accurate. And I want to point out that there was more. So do your research. I'm not going to sit here and defend. I'm just saying, as I also learn more about what he was really talking about, I have kind of been able to separate some of the sensational highlights from what seems to be the underlying message. Thank you, brothers, because I've been kind of confused as to like, whoa, the disparity in the reaction really got me. So it sounds like you did take a lot of his messages and did
Hmm.
self-reflect,
Hmm.
and it was helpful to you. So I think that's a different perspective um, for women. So do you think, talk about his legacy and impact? I'm going to drop the link soon, y'all. Just to, give me 5 minutes. I want to talk about his impact on, I guess, women who receive and women who don't receive his message. Do you
Mhm.
think so? For a lady who's watching who is like, no, misogynist, no, not a true leader, no, stop the foolishness. This man really did not like women. How would you explain who he was? And you've started to do so.
Explain how. Well,
His
I can.
message for women.
Yeah, I personally see, and I can even like in my life, the people or the women that took his message and didn't take it as negative, took it as helpful, took it to self reflect, and again, if it don't apply, let it fly.
Mm-hmm.
But if it does, and if you're wanting to be married, if you're wanting a man, if you're particularly a black woman that appreciates a black man and want to marry a black man, and you have a black man that black men are saying this is what we've been wanting to say, but y'all are not listening. Wouldn't it behoove of a black woman that wants a black man to actually maybe consider what a black man is telling you?
All right, sis, I'm listening. I'm just
I mean, does that? I mean, it ain't algebra. It ain't
yeah, it ain't calculus carry the
trigonometry.
1 + 5 carry the 1. So this is what I want to ask, because then there are people that said, and I saw some of the memes. They were so it was too early for a lot of the foolishness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is the man just passed? But uh, Twitter, for example, cousin sent me something that was like, yeah, all Kevin Samuels did was tell overweight black women they can't get a GQ, and broke busted guys that they need to level up. Is that just an oversimplification of that message?
That overweight women can't get the top 10% that
Like,
they want.
yeah. Is that what it boils down to? Because when I saw it, I was like, hmm.
Well, what it boils down to is, and every single woman on his show made his point valid. He didn't even have to say a word, just let the people talk. But they wanted a particular type of man. They wanted a particular type of man specifically with this income that, if you look at the stats, majority of men don't make. Majority of men are average making, you know, 42 45K a year, which honestly, if we look at it, and women that are working, I mean, you can live off 50K. If you another woman making, let's say, 40K, 90K, you just live below your means.
Right.
Chill out on all the credit and buying and stuff, go to Target and Walmart like
Got
me.
coupons, yes.
Right. I mean, it's feasible,
Yeah.
but majority of women want a particular lifestyle. And
Mm.
so you have 90% of women wanting 10% of a particular type of man. So if this man has the picking and the choosing, why would he choose someone 5'3", 300 pounds?
Mm.
So it's reality, lady.
Yeah.
If I'm walking around, who's Usher? Let's just
Mm-hmm.
take Usher. I got the pick of the choosing because I'm Usher.
Ursher, yeah.
Why? Why would I? I don't have to get a Lizzo.
Mm.
And so it's, if you want this type of man, that's why, what's your dress size? How it's because you're wanting a particular type of man. Now, what he did, he championed blue collar men.
Yes,
It's
he did.
bring it down, lady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These men need love. These men are great too. These men can fulfill you in all kind of ways as well, but you're fixated on a
And would
particular
make good
type of man.
husbands.
A
Yeah.
good husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so these men are overlooked. So him champion blue collar men again, had these men had a voice,
Mm.
and we need to listen.
Yeah. And I'm gonna read the chat as much as I can, guys. Shout out to everyone watching. Appreciate you guys hanging in there and enjoying the conversation. The chat is busy. I can't even read it. I'm trying to focus on what you're saying. I hear Courtney Michelle, and the chat is like, rah. It's so fascinating. I don't know how to go in and, like, how to make it 5 seconds or 10 seconds delay. I'll figure that out.
Um,
Sitting, I got to do it from YouTube, I think, right? I have to go into
yeah,
YouTube.
you
So
can slow the mode down.
I am Courtney Michelle here, giving her truth about how she interpreted what she saw firsthand in her personal relationship with Kevin Samuels, and what his legacy for women should be, and what it meant, and how it's being interpreted now. It sounds like it's far from how you saw it, sis, in terms of take the meat, spit out the bones. If it don't apply, let it fly. And also, he indirectly as you saw it, was trying to help women understand the thinking of a man. It sounds crude because I can hear women saying, is it all my face, my body? Am I like, is that all that I am? I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm sentient, I'm loving, I'm giving, I'm caring. Why does it seem like he's for some, overemphasizing the physical? What would you say to women who hear the message and say, this is garbage? A woman is much more, deep and complex than, height, weight, dress size. What would you say to someone who's like, this can't be good information because it's just limiting women to just their physicality?
Men are visual. You can be all that hoopla, but if you look like the bottom of my foot,
see, I gotta take my face off this screen.
I mean, let's be
Miss Courtney. All right, all right.
I mean, it's dealing with reality. You can be the most amazing person, but if men are visual and they are telling you that and they want you to come to them as a woman and natural, then I don't
Yeah,
that's what
you're
they
saying
are.
it's
Men
just
are
truth.
visual.
Mm.
And all that. And I think he was really good because a lot of people push back on him because he's twice divorced. But the man never told you how to stay in a relationship. That he always spoke about therapy. The man never told you the dynamics on how to keep it spicy in a relationship. He's talked from an image consultant. So your image is, what do you look like?
Right. Okay.
This is what he knew. And he talked to thousands of men, and if they were consistent all over the board, any race of men would tell you that they do want a woman that's fit, feminine, and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting you there. He's bringing you to the door. You know the old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them
Can't
drink.
force them to drink. My
Right.
goodness.
So that's what it is. Hey, I'm giving you the blueprint.
So you're saying this is just the raw, I don't even know if the word is primordial or like just the basic truth about men and women, and what men see is what attracts them. So all the other fluff we've been sold
No,
is not important. Is
well,
that
I
is
don't
that
want
the
to take the
message?
fluff away.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to diminish men or make them as they just looking at you and then that's it.
Right.
Physicality is an important role. I think I've seen some stats where when a man meets you, it's physically, I think it's like maybe 60 to 70% is just a physical attraction that a man is wanting on the first time meeting you.
Mm.
Now that I'm in the door, now what do I have to offer?
Right.
And this is where the being the feminine woman, being sweet in nature, being intelligent, this is where this comes into. But a man is not just wanting to date you because you got a good brain. I mean, that's how you stay. But his conversations was never about how you stay in a relationship. It's how to get you there. I can get you to the door, and these are the steps to get to the door. Now it's going to be contingent on you to stay there. But at least
Mm.
I got you there.
Mm. Very interesting take. Again, a lot of people have not digested him and gone deep enough into his work to understand what you're saying. So I'm glad you're kind of summarizing where you see his work was centered, and so that folks can get a different opinion based on what Miss I am Courtney Michelle is saying in terms of let's really look at what he's offering, and it is, in your opinion, valuable. So if people want to take some of the mayhem, and again, Phyllis, thank you for this comment. Wasn't he the guy that said black women were the most unattractive? I don't know. I personally, like I said, have
I'll
not
answer
studied him to
that.
know this on the planet. Wasn't he the guy that said black women would die alone? When you speak, watch your words because karma is listening. I won't
So
go into the
let
second
me
part,
get on
just the
to
first
that's
part.
fine. Let me check this comment because
Yeah.
again, people comment and they are completely ignorant. This is some of the dumbest comments, and this is one because it's complete ignorance. All you gotta do is watch his content. He never said that black woman was the most attractive. He was looking at a stat. It was a dating OkCupid. OkCupid did a poll and it had black women at the lowest of getting picked. So no, Kevin Samuels didn't say black women y'all the most attractive. He got it from a poll which was done with OkCupid. So if you have a problem with that, go to OkCupid. Don't put that on Kevin Samuels. So that's number one. Wasn't he the guy that said black women would die alone? So let's clear that up, because this is, again, ignorance at its finest. We're all going to die alone. I'm not going to die with a partner and we're going to go see the Heavenly Father jump roping together in the sky. That's not going to happen. We're all going to die alone. The essence is not living this life alone, not having a dog for a companion because you're so stuck in the ass and have an attitude problem and don't want to listen to men that no man wants to be around you. That's what he preached about. That's a lot of women. The dog sales for black women has gone up, and I wonder why. Because we're not enjoyable to be around, and it's the rhetoric that is because we don't listen. We're so quick to criticize something that we know nothing about. When you speak, watch your words, because karma is listening. So you're absolutely right, Phyllis. Karma is listening. So I would suggest, before you speak on a man an ill will to anyone, do your research first, because you're wrong. And the second one, ma'am, you're just wrong.
Courtney Michelle speaking nothing but the truth in her truth. Thank you for addressing that. Like I said, I've seen a lot of comments like that. I welcome all opinions. And again, they can be rebutted, of course. First Gen Court says, the Cosby's, Fresh Prince were unrealistic shows. It came at a time where conservatives ran rampant and elite black folks wanted a narrative. Think about the backlash, Quiet Storm, and how hip hop came about. Yet, like, some people were like, okay, that wasn't the truth of the black experience. Or in total, there were other experiences that. Yes, the last good man in Jersey, love your name, says, black men are tired of misrepresentation from our own women about incarceration, infidelity, and sexuality. Tons of solid black men fighting an uphill battle. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Yes, Michonne, Denise, busy in the chat. I'm like, you're only triggered if it applies. I hear you. But again, how to date, how to find a husband. I'm like, that, I don't think, I didn't get those lessons. Let me see the super chats I see here. Thank you so much for the love and supporting the stream, supporting my content, and support of topics like this. If you enjoy it, get involved in the conversation, y'all. I appreciate everyone being here. Respect 007 after that. 007. I was trying to tell you that don't pay all of us lady lawyers the same. I got good homegirls, lawyers who are wonderful wives. They husband will tell you. Moms too. Cook. Do everything what we do and take care of it in the courtroom. Can we be both, please? Thank you so much. On the super chat, 007 coming through strong. Nothing but love for you, brother. But you know, I was a little, yeah. I'm like, why y'all coming over here talking about attorneys only act one kind of way? I know I got some sisters that, you know, got a little pepper on them. I know how that go, but not each and every one of us. Give some of us a chance. Know how to follow, trust and believe, right? And we want families, right? We want families. That's a theme I can agree on.
Yes.
We need families, right? We're stronger when we have families together. So big up my brother 007 coming back strong on the super chat. Cash flow hustles. I see you. I'm gonna read a few and I'm gonna drop the link. The hate from black women and beta males. Sims, your words have been massive and brutal. Sometimes I have a problem, Courtney Michelle. I just bring up a comment and then I don't read it first.
It's okay.
It sounds good. And they'll be like, again, we're talking Kevin Samuels tonight. I hope you guys are aware that, again, I wanted to speak with someone who knew him personally. Again, I was just introduced to his content last year. So I'm not going to say it here and try to be inauthentic, like, oh, Kevin Samuels did this and that for me. He did wake me up.
Yeah.
Absolutely did wake me up to what you're saying. Good, bad, indifferent, however you feel. Looking at myself, you know, what my ideal partner is. What would he be thinking? And would he want me? And I think that's okay to say without saying you hate a black woman or saying that black women ain't nothing. I think those are two different things that are being conflated. But to ask the question, what does a man want? And to say there are things that you may need to do to meet that man at the point of his desire, I think, again, it seems to be quite taboo. There seems to be like, don't tell me what
don't
to do.
Tell me what to do.
Not saying all my sisters feel like that, because it's many of us that are listening. But I think it is in larger society, there's a lot of pushback against it for
let's
Black women, because white women are lined up. Just saying,
Susan,
many of them are.
let's keep it 100. Okay, I'm about to go sister girl. Okay, we don't listen. We don't. We do
Mm,
have attitudes. I mean, we can say, well, it's a couple, we not all. Well, look, the proof is in the pudding. If our men are telling us that they can't even talk to us correctly, if our men, he had this, one of the only shows I think I cried on Kevin Samuels, he had a show about women not even smiling, and he had woman after woman saying, no, I don't smile at nobody. Why would I want to smile? That little head,
where we get
I'm
that
not
from?
gonna
Are we learning to
smile.
be protected? And our parents saying, watch out for bad people, so don't smile up with strangers. Where does that come from?
I mean, I understand the protection, but it's aren't black women, aren't we tired of always having a guard up? Like, this is the point where,
This is
like,
historical,
I got
Courtney. There's more to
tired.
this. Yeah, it's
I'm tired of
historical.
having
Yeah.
to hold everything together, because that's not my role. You want to know why we eat so much and do all this and do everything in excess? Because we're out of alignment and we're out of order. That's why. And we're out of order because we're not doing our rightful place of being a woman.
Mm.
We're being masculine because we are putting ourselves in. We don't have to. I understand it in the 80s when daddy and them wasn't there.
Mm.
Drugs, people, feminism, it was a whole lot of things. But what has happened is the transition where back in the 80s, there were more black men incarcerated than in college. Well, guess what it is now? It's changed. It's more men in college than incarcerated. However, our mentality hasn't changed. We haven't rightfully gave the men the right or the ability to see the change and allow them to get back into our lives as their rightful role as the leader. The
Mm.
men have completely changed. They're not our dads. These men are holding down amazing jobs. These men are fathers. I say this all the time. The CDC said the black men are more involved fathers than white men and Spanish men. However, we still over here saying black men ain't shit. So when is it going to be our mentality change towards black men? Because how they've been in America has completely changed.
Man.
And that's where I'm not seeing where black men have progressively gotten better.
Mm. So we're
And
saying
black
black men
women
are
have,
level. Yeah, go ahead.
they're
Sorry,
leveling up.
leveling
And
up.
black women have progressively leveled up like a man, instead of not try to give the man back his power and simmer it down so we can be a mom again and a wife again.
In her words, I am Courtney Michelle doing some work over here. Shout out to Duty, Honor, Caffeine. I honor what you just said, sis. I honor what you just said. Hey, ladies, KS spoke and definitely acknowledge a lot of how I speak and view things I look for in the woman. Okay, so he influenced you a lot. Duty, Honor, Caffeine. I like it. My father saw his content and said, yeah, I already know that stuff. My lady would watch these clips and say, this
This
you.
you.
So yeah, I think it just surprised a lot of women what's in the heart of a man. We have gotten a whole different, picture of how men think. And again, he's not necessarily talking about every single man on the planet, but a good swath of men, one point, how many million subscribers, at least identify, some of them being women, of course, are his subs, but nonetheless, a strong contingent, millions of views, not only was for conversation sparking, but I'm sure represented many who wanted, as you said, to say things out loud that they could not. So his boldness, he'll be remembered for his bravery to put himself out there in a space where criticism don't go over well and they come for you. So I
Yeah.
hear you, and again, this is the sentiment I was seeing from a lot of men I've seen on different shows, saying that no, he spoke my language, like it or not, like not, have a problem with the delivery, but he was really speaking for, many of the unheard, specifically men from the top 10% to, I say earners. top 10% earners to people who have, middle class and working class, roots. So I'm grateful that you're here breaking down what you saw as his legacy, what you see as his message, where it landed for women. I'm going to drop the link. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, it was kind of dark when I did the remembrance and trying to figure out what were the rumors true. Go back and watch the show, y'all. Just
Mm,
looking back at it, my stomach was like tight. Like this was really happening in
it
real
was a lot
time.
going.
So yes, my 3 shows. I'm not sure how much more I'm going to talk about him because I need to talk about him. I say for myself in an authentic way. Wanted somebody like Courtney Michelle who could actually speak on him from a personal point of view. Tomorrow we're going to speak about his digital assets, y'all. He left a lot of earnings. The video is now going to be making tons of money, and we're going to talk about probate with a lady lawyer, probate attorney, Sandy B, coming through from the Learn Biz podcast tomorrow. And again, I got some great shows. Y'all subscribe if you can. Yes, I was trying to do work. Shout out to J Bones and DL Saint who helped me a lot with that. So I think there's let me drop a link. I feel like we're gonna get bombarded. Let me read a couple of the super chats because there's so many people who are, feel some kind of way. Uncle Stu,
Oh,
no,
that's my darling.
thank you for
That's
being
my
here.
darling.
Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Y'all go sub to Uncle Stu, one of the elders, giving us real information also about how what you just talked about, Courtney, how to maintain the relationship
You had to
afterward.
maintain it
One
after
thing
the
to get the
fact.
man is another
Right.
thing. Like, hey, this is a whole human being you're connecting your life to, right? You guys are meshing all kinds of things. So to understand that man and understand that man's mindset, I
Yeah.
think is a huge gift. Thank you, Uncle Stu, for doing the work that you do. Trish with the pones, big up yourself. All right, Courtney, a lot of the detractors never bothered to watch his full videos. This is the feeling I'm kind of getting because it's
Mhm.
such a, like I say, stark difference between people who can, speak from it, like how Courtney is giving us kind of her viewpoint, to
Mhm.
those who are like hate this man and really have this sense of like vitriol, and not just, it's deep, it's personal. So I'm not citing here with there or there, but it just shocked me, the spectrum of responses. So I was like, let me talk to somebody who really knew him to get a
Yeah.
better view, vantage point of what did you get personally from his message, and how did you receive it? Because again, it's so eye opening is the best way I can put it, to see how other people seemingly only got what you talking about,
The
Trish.
clips.
Big up yourself, bits and
The clips.
pieces. They just listened or watched the short viral clips and make wrong conclusions like Vivica, okay, shots fired, and the other Fox Soul ladies. Any commentary from you, my lovely guest, Courtney Michelle?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly what I spoke about. I know that there was a clip that was going saying that you shouldn't date after 5. And that got a lot of pushback. Well, men can't control themselves and after 5. And so that got a lot of pushback. But if you watch the clips, then you're going to think that. If you watch the show, he was talking about being in platonic relationships. And if you
Oh,
don't want to be with someone like that physically, romantically, then don't
don't
even
entertain the
try.
late night conversation.
Don't even give them the time, lady. Don't go to after 5, baby. Go somewhere, get some little tea,
But that's
get a
my
little
friend.
coffee,
That's my friend.
and he's going to be thinking something else. That little thing that went
Listen.
viral, but no one wanted to watch it. And then if you understand what he was saying, it makes sense.
Yeah. So people
So
lack context. Yes,
absolutely.
y'all want to bring up my past. Suzette, remember you did not want this KS to come up when you were in TLA and did a collaborate. Yes. It's better if people remember how you make them feel. You always catch more flies with honey. So yeah, his delivery. Y'all can have a problem with his delivery. Say what you feel.
Yeah.
Andrew on the super chat, big up yourself, my brother who
Hey,
has
come
been a
on.
fantastic Patreon member. Y'all, I got a Patreon where we do personal development. And thank you, Andrew, for your generosity. KS truly, introduce, can I read, realistic expectations that men and women should have for each other. He emphasized the importance of keeping families together. See, again, you say that, and there are people who are going to rewatch this stream. Shout out to Team Replay, hit the like button, and go say what they talking about. Y'all go back a little bit more in the archive. Again, not for my sake, not for me. I'm not like pushing or endorsing. I'm just saying, look at his sentiment. A brother
Mm-hmm.
who watches and I know knows, Kevin's catalog is saying this. And I think, again, it got lost in the viral videos. Kevin introduced realistic expectations that men and women should have for each other. He emphasized the importance of keeping families together. KS said that men have to earn the right to demand respect, especially from our women. See, people, again, you educated me. Women should, I think it means show more love. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
you on the big 50 on the super chat. What would you respond, Courtney Michelle?
Well, he's absolutely right, and he got in men ass too. But of course, you don't know that part or just hear that part or
Yeah.
that part, So, but before he got into men, and he specifically has said, men, you need to make sure you provide for your woman.
Yes.
Take care of her financially. There's no reason why no woman in a relationship should be financially struggling.
But they call them Sims though, Courtney. They calling them Sims though. Men
That's what
still
they call.
paying bills though.
Yeah,
They
but the
still want to
men.
do that.
Well, that's the men that can't do it. And
Uh,
the women that are
Juicy J
complaining
just
about
tweeted that
Kevin.
y'all need to
And
pay
look,
bills again.
let
What's
me
going on?
tell you, you should be able to provide for your woman. He preached that. And
That's what he preached. Please, you're educating me.
He got in the
all I
men
hear is
word.
simp that and people don't want to buy dinner, coffee only, all of this stuff. And I'm like,
Well, again, the manosphere is made up of a whole lot of people.
yes,
Okay.
yes, beyond Mr.
But,
Samuels. I hear you.
but Kevin Samuels wanted men to level up and
Yeah.
financially be better, take a trade. There was a one show, he was like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be working 60 hours a week. Get another job, invest
Wow.
that. So he wanted men to level up. And he understood that what women wanted, and he understood what men wanted, but the
Wow.
women didn't listen to what he said to the men. Of course, we're going to see what he said about us, and it better not be bad. And if he says something negative, then I'm going to stone him.
Wow, I'm enjoying this, love. What Kevin
I-
Samuels meant to me with special guest YouTuber. Go subscribe to her channel, y'all. Y'all see she's very deep, reflective. Had that personal experience with him that can just illuminate a little bit more about the messenger. Again, we're getting into the message as well. But I think sometimes, again, especially in death, I thought, wow, we need to fill out the picture of this person. Like him or hate him, love him or hate him. I don't have, again, I'm trying to deal with this kind of journalistically, but I'm looking at it as like, wow, it's like two different churches, two different choirs, two different, worlds. Worlds apart as to who he was. So I wanted, especially a woman who had her firsthand, experiences and knowledge of him to kind of really speak on who he was to her and what she gleaned, what she got as some of the impact from his work. So again, she doesn't speak for everyone; she's speaking for herself. But I'm glad to bring, a different type of perspective based on her experience. And again, I see the chat is busy. I can't even keep up with the chat tonight. Shout out to Doug. I grew up in the hood. But as an HU grad, shout out to my HBCUs, the Cosby's is very realistic, as many of my alumni are professionals and married. Okay, we're not a monolith. We got you. If it's not realistic to you, you might just want to expand your network. Okay, Doug is one of my ardent, true blue supporters. Been with me for a while. Doug gonna give it to you straight.
Yeah,
stay in Miami, blood raw.
Let me explain on that too, because I don't want to get misconstrued like how Kevin Samuels does. It's not. So when the Cosby Show came out was the 80s. I'm not sure how old he is, but I mean, I was 5.
Yeah.
So, and I grew up in a one-parent household. My dad was on drugs. So that wasn't how I experienced life, and seeing it on TV looked like something my mom didn't think it was obtainable, and it was something that I wanted to strive for. Watching a different world, that impact on me is maybe I went to Tennessee State University. I went to an HBCU strictly because I saw it. I didn't see it around me, but I saw it on TV, and that inspired me. But again, to Kevin Samuels' credit, it's what are we portraying? Our image. And the image of a different world had me want to go to college, want me to go to an HBCU, which I still invest 16 years plus after the fact. So if that image was so impactful to me, and look
Yeah.
at the image of Black folks now,
Right.
it
Mm,
has to change.
right.
What is my daughter looking at?
Right.
Meg the Stallion?
I'm telling these people they want these young gals, and they getting their lessons from who? Name the top four female
Right.
rappers.
Meg,
No hate
Cardi.
at getting your money, but y'all want women with different morals and value code, probably from many of you. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, great to have our sisters who are. And there are people who are younger in their 20s who are well, established in their mind. I'm not going to say everybody,
Right.
but there's a lot more different role models for sure. Point well taken. Courtney Michelle doing work over here. Quita G, nice to see you, sis. Says two beautiful Black women. Keep up the great work on the super chat. Thank you, sis, for showing love, y'all. I'm enjoying her company tonight, and I see y'all are too. Thank you very much. Again, reflections. We about to drop the link. What Kevin Samuels meant to me, in the words of my special guest and YouTuber Courtney Michelle. You can find her, follow her channel, support her, y'all. She has been, just talking and speaking her mind, as she said, a lot more than that, influencing the culture of how we are viewing even his legacy. So,
Mm.
talk a little bit about his legacy. I got to read a couple more super chats, but what's his true legacy to you? Is my next question before I open up the panel. Shout out to everybody on the super chat. Kurt D.A. Anderson, thank you so much. I did a fantastic show on Lizzo with Kirk. Got me
Oh,
right in the mind. Had me. I done got a trainer since I met Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Kurt was doing work. He is a virtual trainer as well as has a YouTube channel, Kirk D.A.
oh,
Anderson
awesome.
Fitness. Yeah, he extra fly when he wear his little tank tops. We could have barely
Oh,
hold him on the
Kurt,
stream, Courtney Michelle. We were like, okay, Kurt, with the gun. You see him with the gun show. He
I
had to put
see
his
him.
personal emoji. But thank you, Kurt, on the super, showing love. Thank you. I enjoyed that interview. Go check him out. Yes, Miss AKA Lady, the clips are inciting. It's understandable why some people wouldn't want to dig deeper. I hear you, sis. And one of my Patreon members, thank you so very much. Let me hurry up and get through my Big Bad Bull.
Hey,
Nice
that's
to
my
see
guy.
you. Yes, my
Hey,
brother.
darling.
Nice to see you, says two of my favorite ladies that embody internal and you're very sweet.
Oh,
External
it's so
beauty. So do you see the
sweet.
flowers? Thank you, my brother.
Oh, he's such a
On the
sweet man.
super showing love tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. I'm dropping the link now. If you want to join, again, I've been trying to respect my guest time. Yesterday, I got a little bit off topic because guests get very passionate and I love
Yes.
them. But, I have to monitor her time, guys, what other people in the back want and hopefully can get a chance to say. So please, if you can keep like 2 minutes or less, minute, so we can
Mhm.
get to more people, I would appreciate it. I want to respect, and again, thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, why don't you? Yes, people will take, Quincy says, 30-second clip out of minutes long conversation.
Hours.
Hours, yeah, and think that's an accurate representation. I see how people get elected. Hello. And the same folks keep losing. This is
Yeah.
true. Like, you think people, thank you, Algernon Newton, love your name, Dr.
Yeah.
Thunder, my brother in the space, another great YouTuber, paying my respects. RIPKS. Thank you, Dr. Thunder. Go check out his channel. Again, a musician, just a thinker. He's a professor as well, and fantastically introspective. So I've had him on my
Mhm.
Patreon as a guest, and I've also had him as a guest here on YouTube. Thank you, Dr. Thunder, for your kindness and your super chat. Appreciate you. And the panel, I see Michonne Denise in the back. The link has been dropped. If you want to come up, reflect on what Kevin Samuels meant to you. Barry Wagwan, all the way. You see the pounds? What's up? Let's go. Thank you to my international viewers. Appreciate y'all. I've trended a little bit in Norway. I
Really?
was like, what's Norway about? I don't know which show. I gotta go back and
That's
read.
interesting.
I was like, I'm seeing new like European countries on my stuff,
Hmm.
on my analytics. And I was like, wonder what show did that. But anyway, Barry, thank you so much to Sister Suzette and the Tennessean Dr. Bird. A frank and in-depth conversation and about a man of impact. Mr. Kevin Samuels content. Shout out to you, Barry. He's always here helping me in this chat. And I'm
Mhm.
grateful you're not only understanding, but enjoying tonight's conversation. Shout out to you, my brother. And thank you for your generosity on the super chat. Appreciate you. And I think I have one more. I just want to make sure I get to everybody. Um, Yes. Oh, Doug, we cool. He says, Suzette speaks. I am Courtney Michelle. Just for some clarification, my super chat about the Cosby Show
Oh
was
no.
not directed. We got it. Well, no worries.
Yeah.
He wanted to
Well,
clear up.
I'm actually
Mhm.
glad that he mentioned that
Yes.
because I wanted to talk about how important Kevin Samuels was as far as with image. So I didn't take that personal. So
Yes. We
you're all
good
right.
then.
But I'm actually glad that you said it because it was the reason why I went to an HBCU because I saw it. I didn't see it around me per se, but it was that image. And Kevin Samuels is big on image. What are we looking like? How are we carrying ourselves? Black women, how are you carrying yourself? Your image right now in the media is trash. Let's just be completely honest. You don't see the Claire Huxtables. You see the Cardis.
But we
So
out here. We trying to be.
right, right. But we're cultivating that space and the
Yeah.
space
Is it
that we
we ourselves? Is it the powers that be? My brother DL will talk about the have yachts and the have nots. Is it, greater society trying to remove, or powers that be in greater society trying to remove some of the strides that we've uh, made in this country? Or are we doing it clearly to ourselves for money, for fame, for power?
it's a little bit of both.
Mm,
I mean, the powers can want it, but there's a subset of us that's giving it to them. And we
okay.
are doing it for money. People have been tricking out for money for years. So
I know. Selling
it's
out,
not
baby.
going to stop. It's not going to stop. So here we have to give an alternative. And
Yeah.
I think with the Black Manosphere, the Manosphere in general, what Kevin Samuels was trying to do, and what he did do, was have a space where what you see on TV is not what Black men are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I'm gonna bring up.
suits, wearing the suit Saturdays and
Yes.
leveling up, what Black men really are. And we're not the old dogs. Well, a
Mm-mm.
couple of y'all are,
Well, a
but
couple.
in general, I know a couple of them.
Not
Okay,
everybody.
but
So we're
no,
not
who
gonna
are
we're not gonna
we?
assume every black man is just leveled up. Nah, but there's
Yeah,
a lot
no,
who
but
have,
it's
and he wanted to bring those men
a
to life.
balance. It's
Yeah,
like, where is the balance? Where are
yeah.
you seeing
Give me
these?
that representation with the other
And
crazy
that's
ones
what,
that you had for years and
yeah,
years, and
I
making
think.
us afraid of each other as
I
black
think,
people.
yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out to Duty Honor Cafe again
Mhm.
on the super chat. Says KS, I see all these weak men talking about taking a thorough
Mhm.
out on woman on coffee dates. Man, please. Okay, he wasn't for that. I'm appreciative that you clarified. I guess he would know. Duty Honor Caffeine would know this. You can tell when people are giving versus
Mhm.
earning. Ooh, their opinions are
Mhm.
given versus earning their opinions. Don't get mad at the loud and ignorant. Yes, I can tell that again. Many people clearly just by his million on Instagram, million plus on YouTube, really rock with the brother. But there were millions of others that just, barely took bite size crunchy pieces and made him into what many would say is like a caricature. So
Yeah.
I'm glad again we're trying to humanize, we're trying to make give a different side of a woman who saw him through a different lens. And that's what I'll let kind of marinate. Y'all hit the like button. I see a lot of people have joined. I appreciate you. We rocking 100. I think it was 175 people at one point
Oh
live.
wow.
I'm feeling like
Okay.
TLA them. Thank you. First super chat came from O'Shea Dew Jackson. Like who gets that?
Oh,
Like
Shay, he
you
followed
bring
me
that,
around.
darling.
No,
Girl,
oh Shay.
you giving me that black girl magic. I was like, oh, okay, we got people in the pack. We're gonna bring up the guests now. The additional my speakers
Oh
who are in
Shay.
my community. Shout out to everybody watching. Hit the like button. Consider subscribing. Again, you are all welcome to join the conversation. The link has been dropped. Just be respectful for me, please. We are again talking about someone who has had a significant impact in both directions for many people. So I want to be respectful of folks' opinions. You can have yours. I'm not going to limit you on here. Please don't try to cuss though, cuss nobody out. Thank you. Super chat is open again. Showing love on the Cash App. Thank you. I'll check. Thank you so much. And first, I'll bring up Mashawn Denise. Hey, beautiful. How you doing?
Hey y'all, what's going
Hello.
on? Oh my goodness. All right. I know
Did
you
you
got
have anything to say? I saw you a couple times
I
in the
got
chat.
plenty to say, child. I got plenty to say. But the first thing I gotta say is you really must have bought that live streaming from TLA, child, because you long stroking and you are a junior up in here, okay? And forgive me, I'm a little strict.
Try, but I hope that's a good thing.
That's so hilarious. I want to say to Courtney, it's great to finally actually talk to you directly. Obviously, I've
You
seen you around
too. I
here and
see you in the chats with
there. Okay, that's good to know.
Obsidian.
I'm honored. I'm honored. So
Yeah, I see you.
everything that you say, you're like just we're just like twinning here with everything that you're
Hmm.
saying, okay? But I would just like I want to say that I came to know Kevin Samuels from Average at Best, which was on a blog, and I saw it, and I'm like, "What is this mess? What is this mess? Who is this man? And why is this woman?" So I went. Guess what I did? I went and found him, and I listened to that whole segment. Like he always says, "Did you listen to the whole 22 minutes?" So
Hmm.
I went and I listened to the whole 22 minutes. I even have since reacted to it since I
Mhm.
started the channel, and I was like, this woman was crazy from the gate. Like, I feel like no one was even paying attention that she called the wrong topic. She was at one point when she didn't want to hear it anymore. She was being rude. She was on her
Hmm.
phone, like all this craziness. And I'm like, typical. When I'm watching
Hmm.
it, I'm like, typical. And I'm sorry. I'm a black woman. I know other black women don't like me and like what I have to say, but I'm black too. So I have a right to talk about me and mine. And this is what I'm saying. He had a lot of good things to say, regardless of, what everyone has to say. Everybody got their own opinion. Was he on point of everything 100%? No. And anyone who thinks that someone has to be right 100% of the time,
Hmm.
that's an issue. None of us get everything right, right? But like someone recently said, I can like chew the meat and spit out the bones or something like that.
Hmm.
And that's what I can do. And he has a lot more to offer black people, black women, and a black community than anyone that I've seen in a while. So as long as the content is there, I'm going to be watching it, all the old stuff, like everything. I appreciate him for the time that we had him. I think he has done a lot. You don't get to 1.45 million and growing, mind you, and then
Yes.
1.2
That
on
night I did it,
Instagram.
the stream, it was 1.41. So
As
half
Hmm.
a
today, I
million
think it's
people
1.45.
have, or 450,000 people have now subscribed to his channel. We're going to talk about his digital assets tomorrow, y'all. But finish your point. Thank you, Michonne Denise.
No, I was just saying, like, so he's growing. So for all these people who don't like him, they certainly know everything that he seems to be saying, and I'll just leave it at that.
And for
Yeah.
your reflections, and again, Michonne Denise has been a guest here talking about how she met her husband and developed her family, etc. And thank you, Michonne Denise, for always being a supporter. Let me ask you, so what, I guess I see where you stand in the chat, so I was trying to develop a question, but I think I know how you're going to answer. But just tell me what you think his legacy is going to be.
Oh, probably divided, honestly. If I can be completely
Hmm.
honest, it'll be
Mhm.
divided depending on who you ask. But I think that like I said, in a very short amount of time, he accomplished a lot for
Mhm.
Black people, Black men, and the Black community at minimum.
Mhm.
There's plenty of Black women who I've seen and heard and saw say, "You helped me this, you made me think that," including Courtney, mind you. I've watched her talk on the show as well.
Hmm.
So I've watched enough shows. I know
Yeah.
what he was saying. And then when he said something, I'm gonna let you know. What I didn't agree with was domestic discipline. Okay. That didn't mean
What that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, well,
Again, for
you
those
know,
of us who just found out
go
about his
ahead,
content
Courtney, go
last year, what
ahead.
does it mean?
okay. Okay. So domestic discipline is a man, his woman gets on out of line, not beating her, but, punishing her. So it
What
could be a
that mean?
spank
That's
on the
new to me.
butt.
What that mean?
It could be like a spank on the butt or put in the um, corner. But here's the thing, because he actually spoke about that on the Lapeef Network.
Hmm.
I don't think he was agreeing with it, but it does happen. And there's a thing actually called Christian domestic discipline, where they believe that it's religion based. So people do it.
Oh, I
And I
don't
think
know.
This is a new concept to me. My shock is like,
well,
I've never
it
heard
ain't
this.
new.
It's
You
not.
could go online. They have books about it if you want to learn. And there's wives that said that they're better wives because their husband disciplines them. So, like you would do a child, you would do a wife.
Yeah.
You get in trouble, you might get a spanking, or you might take a allowance, put her in a corner.
Y'all go,
It's
Courtney
discipline.
Michelle, send me some links to this because this is intriguing. I'm shocked because it's the first time I've ever heard of this. And Michelle Denise, I'm gonna go ahead and give someone else a chance to come on up.
It's a thing.
Because okay, so you say you disagree with that, but you say it would be a divided legacy, basically.
Yeah, but he definitely made an impact in a very short amount of time. And I think it's a lot of positivity for Black men, the Black community. And I just have to leave a question mark on Black women, even though I know that there have been plenty that he has helped. So
Yeah,
I'll leave it with that.
Thank you, sis. Michelle Denise. I'm gonna bring back up this comment, but
it was nice talking to you. Finally,
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming up, sis. Appreciate you being so active in the chat, and I'll
Always.
see you soon. Thank you
All
for
right.
coming up. Next, we have Andrew up. I wanted to TTOO always is a supporter of my content. Seeing you over here so much and always contributing to conversation. Is not a fan. How many people knew Hitler and followed him? Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. I see you.
I
And
mean, how is he compared to Hitler? Did he? When did he ever speak about genocide?
Yeah. So
Like,
again,
the
I'm
extremities
trying
of
to,
it
because
all.
people are gonna say I'm not balanced. People are gonna say I'm favoring whatever. So I'm just gonna.
It doesn't make sense.
Yes. So I just want to show that there is other people, specifically in the chat, that are come on up. Come on up if you're ready. And you can just come up in the back. I don't have to see your face on the screen, but I would love to hear why you feel that way. But yeah, a lot of broad stroking. Cashflow says Kevin Samuels was harder on men for years before he pivoted to women. Thank you. Flex Henry, you flexing. I make over 90K and work 2 jobs to hit 130. Okay, get your money up. Get the points up. Why not? That's what a family in America takes now, damn near. So
yeah, it does.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yes, appreciate you guys in the chat. Bring up Andrew. Andrew, thank you for your patience. How are you?
Hello, how you doing?
You in the dark, Wagwan.
Well, no, I'm in Brooklyn. It's nice outside for once, so I'm enjoying my little bit of nice weather.
All right, BK in the
60s.
building. How you doing tonight? You good?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm excellent. I just gotta say, you ladies, it's wonderful hearing your voices and the way your candor is. That's what people want. I know that's what I want. Just decent people that could tolerate us. I guess people don't understand that sometimes men are very simple. We're very basic. You ask a guy what's in the room, we'll say a chair, a table, and a bed. You're going to talk about the wall colors. You're going to talk about the details on it, the color sheets, the type of seat, the texture of things. Keep it simple. That's what I was trying to say. And you have to be what you want to receive. If you want to receive a certain caliber of person, you have to be that caliber of person. And there's nothing to dispute that. That's a fact of life. He's emphasized that. Improve yourself, maximize yourself. Don't judge a book by its cover all the time, because a lot of men work off the books and get their side money. We odd people always have extra jobs. You know what I mean?
I'm one of them. You got a little bit of this going on. That's how YouTube came about. I'm like, okay, this YouTube look like it's good. Let's make sure. For what I like doing, talking to people. Yeah.
But you see, you're exploring your options, and anyone that you choose to be with would have to be accepting of that. And if you happen to excel in that area, they should be your biggest cheerleader. Absolutely. So that's what people want.
So tell me what's your reaction to his passing, what you think his legacy will be, how did he impact you? Give it, all right, you're doing words. So tell us
done, Zoe.
Yeah, well, my thing is, it hit me because you realize that the new messages won't come on. So we have to carry on the flame with our children, with our daughters and sons, and with our peers. So we just have to make sure that, life is short, and how long you get to enjoy the benefits of life and the people that you're with is fleeting. That's what his death means to me. I had a neighbor right across the street from me they were a loving couple. Everything was perfect. The gentleman just passed away a few days ago, leaving 3 kids and his wife.
Wow, wow,
So
wow,
you can
wow.
have everything and lose it all at once, but then you still have those moments. So we have to really appreciate each other.
Oh, he
You know,
died so
Yeah.
young. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
very young.
that my a colleague was having lunch today, and we were talking about that. We're like, he was just breaking mainstream, like he had done work, and it
But
was just so hard to fathom that just as the breakthrough was coming after all these years, a man in his late 50s to do what he was doing is a testament, and just to be on that cusp of like movie deals and all of this stuff, it broke my heart. But yes, I agree with you. Big lesson there.
yeah, my thing is love life, appreciate your peers. Don't let moments pass you by. Appreciate those people you meet. Every encounter's for a reason. I mean, that's the way I look at life with my friends. I love all my friends. I let them know all the time because we don't have to be here. We don't have to have this moment right now. The time that we share our thoughts and feelings, we have to really take advantage of it and
Absolutely.
maximize it. And
And
in
and
certain
and I
cases,
agree with you, the understanding that life is short and fleeting. Give us your final legacy. And I'm going to read this comment. Kevin Samuels, and again, there are people who will watch this and be like, what are y'all doing? Y'all are pandering. This is not my opinion, y'all. Thank you, the arbiter. Kevin Samuels had more respect and love for the Black family and Black women in particular than the last 50 years of Black leadership in this country, including Black pastors.
but
That's
what's funny? It's true. And if
that's
you
a
listen carefully,
people gonna
something
say
that he
that's
said
cap,
before,
but go ahead,
you know,
Andrew,
no,
explain.
no, real quick. No, here's the thing that people don't get. He spoke about all the flaws he had in life, and he spoke about how much he admired his child's mother. And if you see the way he did, the way he postured himself when he spoke about his former wife, it's very important that people notice those little things, his gestures, and how when he disagreed with a woman, but because of her candor, she was a West Indian woman, he appreciated, he said he enjoyed speaking to her so much. He had her on for so long. It's just, I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, we really have to take in and savor those moments that we have with one another. I like watching all you guys, that you come on. Everyone. I mean, you guys
Thank
that speak,
you.
you guys are more entertaining than TV. So I'm gonna keep on rocking out all of you,
We
including you, brother.
appreciate it.
I watch your stuff all the time. You're funny as anything. I love seeing it.
Yes,
Thank you. I
good
didn't
to
even
see
realize I
you in
was
the
up.
building.
I think
No, man,
you guys
we're
make my
happy that
day.
you enjoy. And again, thank you so much
Yeah.
for being a part of my community, y'all. I have a Patreon, and Andrew was one of the first to join and support the content
Yeah.
and give me ideas and things for shows and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, brother. But thank you for coming up
Take care.
and
Have a good night,
expressing
everyone. God
your
bless. Take care.
You have a great night, Andrew.
thank you. Have a
Let
great
me-
night. Expressing your feelings of
Suzette,
about Mr. Kevin Samuels. Go
Let
ahead,
me
yes.
respond to that comment because I know
Yes.
it might take some people to be like, what?
Yeah, this one.
So I think what he's saying is we've been pandered to for a very long time.
Black women.
Again, Black women have been pandered to for a very long time. Like I said, when I asked you at the beginning, who has been able to show any correction to us? Black women are not above reproach. So for the 50 years of, I love a good R&B song, okay? But it's pandering. The Derek Jacksons, the Steve Harveys, it's pander on pander on pander. And it's the Black man needs to level up for you because you are the prize. You are the prize. Not understanding. And for me, this is something Kevin Samuels would say, men are the prize, but the family is the prize. Marriage is the prize. Having a kid grow up with mommy and daddy in the household, that's the prize. But that's not talked about. Pastors are telling us to wait on God, but not still understanding when we say faith without works is dead, that also applies to our relationships.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't
could be a
get
whole
preached.
show, Courtney. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is finally a time where we're actually having real conversations. We've not talked like this as far as a community ever. And our marriage has been on the decline. Family has been on the decline for 50 years. And this is the first time that we're having conversations as the wives. And the conversation is, women, you got to understand your role in this and take accountability, because Black men have, and we will, but you have to as well too before we get anywhere.
Mm.
So I mean, that's a powerful statement, but
Yeah,
I
it is.
understand what he
Yeah.
means.
Yeah, people will take
Yeah.
issue and
I know,
umbrage
yeah.
with it, but I'm glad you can expound upon it, because
Hmm.
when people say pander, define that. Pandering to, because you're going to hear this. Phyllis on the opposite side. KS made his money through bashing black women. He said himself he gained traction because he bashed black
He
women.
never said he
Um,
bashed
Yeah, I
black
said that.
women. So again, we have to stop with the lies.
mm,
It's a blatant lie. He
mm,
got traction because of COVID and being a
right,
world star where we were all at home and we saw something that we've never seen before.
right.
So he got his traction, and then the women started coming over. He started getting a woman base as far as the fans. So yeah, we plateaued him, but it wasn't because of bashing. It's us hearing something that we've never heard before. It was a
Yeah,
shock value, but the shock value doesn't alleviate it not being true.
yeah. So
And
you're
when
saying,
we,
yeah, it doesn't negate the truth in your opinion.
no,
That
and
is the
pandering is,
shockingness, the directness,
yeah,
the in your faceness of the message does not negate the actual truth behind it. Interesting.
absolutely, yeah.
Michelle Denise, shout out to you. Black women should be their man's biggest cheerleader. I think about, again, I'm big on macro and micro, societal pulls, um, excuse me, societal pulling of us apart, and who benefits through creating an image of black men that even black women are both afraid of, don't want to be associated with, even on a subconscious level. Has that
Hmm.
been the goal with the movies of, we can bring it from early days of cinema to black exploitation onward, um, and has it left such a deep mark within our collective psyches about ourselves? You get what I'm saying? What we think of it about each other, and or could be both, and are we perpetuating it ourselves? It's a deeper question. Like, where is this kind of deflation of black men in our eyes, as some would characterize it, or deflation of black women in our men's eyes? Where is it coming from, and why? That's a deeper question. Y'all know I like to get a little philosophical.
Yeah.
BTB, Wagwan, my brother, how are you?
Wagwan, how are you doing?
Good to see you, my brother in this space. Before the Billions Man in Tech has a fantastic show out here. Go
Thank
check
you.
it out. Tell us, first of all, how you feeling tonight?
Doing well. Glad to be able to speak to you guys.
I'm
Hey,
excited to
hey,
have you.
hey.
He
Hey.
be hanging out over here,
Yeah.
and me as well. Watching him lately. But BTB, what do you got to say? Tell us your feelings about what Kevin Samuels meant to you, or what his legacy will be, or the impact of his work on you.
Yes. First off, let me say rest in peace to the Godfather, Kevin Samuels. Helped me out tremendously. When I was starting up my YouTube journey, he was the one who inspired me. I actually said, after I watched the Average at Best video, I say, oh, you know what? I want to do something similar, which is having discussions with people and great discussions with great people, helping to improve the black male image as well. That's one of the things that he always used to talk about, taking control of your image, being able to show that, hey, we are not all thugs, we're not all bad, we're not all, just making no money at all, like the poorest people. We're not those things. We can actually strive and be better than our current situation. We should be able to be the best versions of ourselves. We should be on our purpose. And I actually really gained a lot from him. I mean, I gained all that confidence to be able to go up on people's panels, gain the confidence to change up my wardrobe, to try out some new things. He is somebody who has influenced me in so many positive ways. I actually just played a video from him, and he was just going down. Hey, here's some great advice for men to be able to improve their living space. So it's like so many different things that he has done, over 1,000 videos that he's made on multiple different platforms. And he really did all this and worked every single day to be able to get us this great information. I mean, you have people who only watch the stuff from, they didn't like, they watch the clips, of course. They watch the 5-minute clip or something like that, or the 30-second clip that you see on Instagram. And it's like, oh, it's like the worst part. And even he himself is like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should dial some things back. But what you can't say is that his message was incorrect. Now, you may disagree with his opinion, and that's fine. But when you see so many people who are, you know, influenced by him so positively, and you see more men wearing suits, you see more men out here talking about fashion, you see more men trying to improve their life. And that's all because Kevin Samuels at least brought it up to them, especially for the men who did not have fathers in their lives, or the men who did have fathers, but the father didn't teach them about, you know, like cologne and how to dress, how to take care of your hygiene, all these kinds of things. So he really did help out with other people's images, even if you had not spoken to him. Even just be able to support other people. He would go up on other people's streams. He'd blow up the stream. People would be like, "Oh, Kevin Samuels joined." So Kevin Samuels joined. It's a big event. We need to go ahead and put this in the chat so that way everybody knows that you know, we got a big name up in here, and he put in the work to deserve all of these things.
Yeah, go ahead, Courtney.
Before, I want to mention that too, because I was talking to O'Shea earlier today about Kevin Samuels' impact. And what we're not talking about is how many people he employed.
That
So
he
as
put
much
on.
as you,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both.
okay.
Yeah.
Putting a name in a show and watch it grow. Putting him on your platform and watch it grow. How many content creators just always making Kevin Samuels content?
A lot of YouTubers gonna be out of business. No shade. No shade. Just saying.
No shade, no tea, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
Okay. This man was a whole business entity himself, where he created jobs on YouTube for hundreds of people. So when we talk about legacy and impact, and he was a misogynist, which was CAP, we've already debunked that. But put some respect on that man's name for at least investing in Black folks.
Yes.
Okay. You use his content, you got paid multiple times.
Yeah. No, I think about that too. Even down to the last, and who knew, you know, those last meetings in New York with, you know, the lead attorney and mediocre tutorials and them boys, and bringing them into like, let's look at the business of this. We sitting on a gold mine, y'all. Like, and no one really shares that type of information. When we make it, when we get to the top, oftentimes we pull up the ladder. Oftentimes we don't reach back. Oftentimes we're like, oh, okay, y'all got an issue now. It is very scary, but it is telling. And again, a lot of people don't know it. Us who pay attention on YouTube, we know it because we've seen the pictures on their pages and who was together, and, you know, they made moves, and they met in Atlanta, and they met in Miami, and, you know, he rolling with the boys, you know, where whoever. No one has to do that. No one has to create that brotherhood and sisterhood. No one has to do anything for you. This is America. They teach us to, quote, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. So for him to even reach around and say, no, we got something going here. Let me encourage. Even I just got to know who Dennis Sperling is. Y'all forgive me, just through this. And how he's been talking about how what Kevin Samuels told him, and I'm like, this is another side that no one is, who is not on YouTube, who is not, you know, in these YouTube streets paying attention. They don't know this person. I'm like, there are people that are saying, you know, glowing things, and I'm just like, am I, you know, not seeing the real Kevin Samuels? Like, what am I seeing? So I'm glad we have a breadth of opinion. Shout out to Michelle Denise on the super chat. No comment, just love. Ernest, nice to see you. Rest well, brother. See you at the shores. Nope. That's what his fraternity, the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Did I get it right? Did I say it with enough emphasis?
You did. Yo, baby, yo.
Okay. All right. Shout out to them smooth Kappas. Okay. But yeah,
okay.
Just saying, I don't even. You know what, 007, you keep being this generous. You know what? He is a sponsor.
He is not playing today.
Thank you. Suzette, please read this slowly. Yes, sir. Black women were the first and only women to speak negative publicly about their group of men. Other women praise their men. Now the black men are speaking back. KS's legacy will be that both sides stop and love again. Deep. Let me read it again. Thank you, brother, for your generosity sponsoring the stream tonight. Black women were the first, in his opinion, and only women to speak negatively publicly about their group of men. Other women praise their men. Now the black men are speaking back. Kevin Samuels' legacy will be that both sides stop and love again. That's a deep sentiment. BTB, you want to give me your comments? I see you in the back, Kenarda. Last call. We about to go over time. Last call on the panel. Panel will be closed. Last call on the panel. You want to respond to this, BTB?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say one more thing about Kevin is that and we talk about like how much work he put in and his health as well. He worked so hard and did something every single day. Monday through Friday. I'm sure Saturday and Sunday he had to also edit and everything else.
Yes.
And he put a lot of people on, but he put his health at risk. He already had bad health, by having, he already had cancer before that. So it's just to go to show that he was so dedicated to helping others that he put other people above himself as well. So it just kind of showed like the selflessness in a lot of things that he did.
I see you. I hear you. And it also, we got to take care of ourselves too. I think there's two messages there.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that we self-sacrifice. Go to the doctor, take your yearly whatever tests, men and women, take your tests, right? We're not martyring ourselves by overworking ourselves and not balancing it with some time off as appropriate. But I agree with you, BTB. The hustle was real. As Mr. Sperling was saying, he's like, y'all think this YouTube stuff easy. Coming up with topics, editing stuff yourself. I ain't got no CNN. We got jobs. we got lives.
Facts.
We have a whole child. Like, we got so much going on. And we're still dedicating ourselves to the messages that we want to present to the people. Right. So it's a labor of love. And he definitely proved, his selflessness in that sense. I agree with you, BTB. That's a very good point. You wanted to add something, Courtney?
I do, because I saw in the chat someone said this is an opinion and it wasn't true. So I wanted to push back on that. Name one other community that say they don't need their man. On public platforms, I don't need a man. Who says it? Like, if we have to be honest here. People don't want to be honest for some reason. Who says it? I've never heard a white woman come on. I don't need him. I don't need a man. No man. No, I never heard that.
Now, come on.
The country voice.
Yeah, I'm from the South. That's
okay. Only that you have the authority to do it. Respect to all of humanity, but I hear your point.
I'm not an Asian woman, not a Spanish woman, not Ethiopian, nothing. It's us that say we don't need them. It's us that celebrate being an independent Black woman, independent of our man, not talking about being interdependent. It's us that say it. I don't understand. And what's so frustrating is that it's true, but we're just scared to say it. We have whole songs about wanting, celebrating being independent of what? What are we so happy?
First of all, Beyonce sang that song and got her good man with her good family.
Because it's a lot. Because she's smart enough.
Cardi B got her good man and her good family. I don't say good in quotation marks.
Well, she got, right.
But hardworking and dedicated to her. He has his flaws. But hardworking and dedicated to her, for sure.
They're smart enough to understand, and this is what happened. This is how feminism got into the Black community, is that they were smart enough to sell it to us because they know we would buy it, but they also knew that they wasn't going to take it. So white women sold us this freaking fallacy. We bought it while they still at home with their man, with the family and their kids, with the 2.5 and the dog and the fence. Beyonce all independent, but she married with all her multiple kids, all happy, drinking some Moscato with Jay.
You know what, Courtney
So they're
Michelle,
able to
that's why
feed
you're
us
so good at
this.
this thing because the transparency and the truth telling is very real. And yeah, that could be you. Why you want to bring up good points? And we gonna be rapping in just a little bit. So I'm gonna let that ride in her
I
words.
understand why we don't want to be honest. And it's so
Yeah,
frustrating when I see ridiculous comments like that, but
I
then
mean, I
can't
have to put
name
up, like I
not a
said, I'm
one.
trying to be balanced. Lisa P, thank you, says he made a career off of disgracing Black women for profit and promoting toxicity. He did this and disguised it as truth telling. I can't believe Black women co signed this mess, shaking my head.
I
Respect your
co-signed
opinion, Lisa.
him. I
Mhm.
put his name in cement. Uh, I make shows thanking him. My very first show I ever did last year was giving him his flowers. He might be gone, but I'm gonna make sure his message does not die. It hasn't died with me. There's nothing that I felt disrespected, disgraceful with. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, my attitude changed. Me smiling at a man, me listening to a man, quite frankly, open me up to date even better men because I listen.
Oh Jesus. Well, like I say, she here because she talk a little bit and
I
say her
told
piece.
you.
You just say a little something here and there. Again, I'm an observer. I don't know him personally. That's why I invited Miss Courtney Michelle to give her opinion because just because you don't, agree with her opinion does not mean it's not valid. And I respect yours too, Miss Lisa P. I'm an observer tonight, listening because again, there is a part of his message that I have not been hearing in the mainstream. So I wanted to open this up. Agree or disagree, you're free to do what obviously you want with this information. But I wanted to hear a different perspectives. Yeah, I see so many super chats. Jeremy, always
Blood
showing love.
pressure
Jeremy,
up.
big up yourself. Anybody that does not have the discipline to listen to a full stream of KS was probably disingenuous from the start. Sorry, Courtney, but I know disingenuous is your favorite word. Is that true? Uh-oh, I love
We
it.
use that word so much in this space.
Oh, it was
Jeez, everyone, you're
disingenuous.
disingenuous. I mean, like, if y'all don't use another word, but
Like
I
it
get
fits
it.
this though. It fits
It
this.
fits. It's fitting.
KS had a huge impact on my life. And again, I wanted to hear why people were saying that. A lot of people are, getting this small bite-sized piece. And it's like other people are like, my impact. They was crying on Gail a show. Men about
Yeah.
what Kevin Samuel did for them, showed them about themselves, held up a mirror to themselves, made them level up, made them say, I am a man, I too am a man, respect, image change, all of this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, if there are so many brothers that are like, nah, bruh, he was not only speaking my language with what I wanted in a woman, but just about me, my lifestyle, how I can be different, how I can elevate in so many ways for men who both had fathers and did not have fathers, is what I've been seeing. And it was just kind of like, I got a mentor in this guy. And there are other people that feel very differently. I'm going to acknowledge both. But I guess I wanted to hear why people had. I see in the back, Tobias. Thank you. And that's the final guest. Tobias will be the final guest. I'm going to bring Kenardak in to the conversation. Good evening, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
The
Hello,
man with
hello.
one of the best voices in your
I was
Radio
about
voice.
to say something. I was like, come on, silky
It's all
smooth.
velvety.
You,
Represent
you're
for
too
the
kind.
West Coast. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Although
Love
I'm a
having
little
you on as always. What are some of your thoughts tonight about the conversation?
well, thank you for having me, Suzette. And Courtney, you do great work
Thank
for the
you.
billions. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
KS was the shakeup that we needed for the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while you have that shakeup, and sometimes it's met with opposition, which is to be expected, but it was much needed. And he inspired me to stay original. He was a huge proponent of creating original content and kind of being unique and being true to that. And I think of if I was ever to suggest an episode to someone to watch
Mm-hmm.
in full, speaking of watching full episodes,
Mm-hmm.
there's two of them actually. Uh, 18 to 24, the college years. Go back in the logs and look at that one. It was released, I think, in August of 2020. So
Mm-hmm.
that was pre-average at best material.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, and well, I don't want to spoil it. Just watch it. The second one would be the 1 million sub celebration and appreciation video
Uh-huh.
that he did in July of last year,
Okay.
when he was getting all the appreciation, which I noticed that whenever that would happen, he would kind of brush it off because he wanted to get disagreements more so, I guess, to
Yeah.
add spice to the show. But that
Yes.
was one of those rare shows where he actually welcomed the appreciation and the stories of how people have been impacted by him.
Talk about how you have been impacted, because I want to hear, and I'm gonna go look up the 18 to 24 you said show, and then
18 to
what other
24, the
show?
college years.
Okay, 18 to 24, the college years, and then what other show is a must watch in your opinion?
The 1 million sub
The
celebration
1
and
million sub
appreciation.
celebration. You just said that, obviously. The 1 million
Mm,
sub celebration.
yeah.
I was paying attention. So
Yep.
watch those, but I want to know what you saw when you saw his work over the last. How long have you been watching him?
June of 2020 is when I first caught notice of him. And he was a guest on a show called
June
The
of
Six,
2020.
hosted
Okay.
by Donovan Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a man in a suit, and I said, okay, I'm going to watch this guy. It's
Okay.
automatic. And he wasn't speaking on anything I wasn't unfamiliar with. You know,
Yeah.
these are the barbershop conversations and the conversations that you hear amongst other men.
Yeah.
But it was the packaging that
Mm.
caught my attention. I hadn't seen anything like that on YouTube before. And I recognized right away, this is needed right here. And it's that episode, the 18 to 24, the college years, that sealed the deal for me because I saw how he interacted with the callers, what he was trying to discuss with them. I don't want to spoil it. Watch that entire episode. Okay. And so seeing that, I'm seeing a man who's original, stays in his lane and stays true to it, even though he's met with opposition. And that's an important piece because as you blow up, there's always going to be opposition.
Oh yeah, it's brave. It's very, 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 very brave. I will say that he had moxie for sure.
One other thing,
Go
Suzette,
ahead.
real quick. I think of also the timeline in terms of his success.
Tobias, you're gonna be my last person. Sorry, go ahead. Timeline as to his success.
Yeah, like 16 months, I think it was, because sure, he's been on YouTube, I think, since what, 2017 or whatever
Yes.
have you. But December of 2020 till now, all the collabs, the guest appearances, all the activity he was doing on and off YouTube. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. That's a lot of work
Yeah.
for 16 months.
Yeah.
He just hit 1 million last year in July. So
Exactly. And
wow.
again, it's incredible to think about the amount of influence. It made me want to go back and start YouTube in the middle of the pandemic. I'm like, why wasn't I doing this? Why wasn't I doing this, somebody? But it's a beautiful what should I say, reflection on him that, wow, saw an opportunity, master marketer. I'll tell him that I see that master marketer in terms of his business sense, and saw an opening and took advantage, like in a good way. Like, no, I'm gonna fill this void. Y'all want somebody to watch? Y'all want something to do and think and talk about? Let's go. Cash flow hustles. Thank you so much for your generosity on the super chat. KS created an economy similar to the way Jordan did back in the 90s. DL Saint on the super. Thank you. Says the manosphere believes that men and women are better together than apart. I think this is a thing that, again, many people who are not tuned in, who are not YouTubers and kind of stay on YouTube, I think they will think this is like a fallacy. But for those of us who have become, consumers on a regular basis of different manosphere content creators, this is something that I think is a theme that many of us can say we agree upon. Now, again, the packaging, again, the means, all of those things may vary from creator to creator, but there seems to be a common thread and desire for bringing Black men and Black women together. So the manosphere believes that Black men and Black women or men and women are better together than apart. Most people are upset by the tone and they reject the message based on that.
Mm-hmm.
They are in their feelings and they miss an opportunity to improve. Your words. Thank you, DL Saint. I'm gonna give our go ahead, Kanarda. I'm gonna turn it over to Tobias. I see you, Sandy B, sneaking in at the tail end of this stream. Thank you, Sandy. She will be my guest tomorrow. We're gonna talk about his digital assets, KS's digital assets. What's gonna happen with the money with his revenue even now. When it comes to probate, I have an expert. She happens to just be here to give us a quick peek into tomorrow's stream at 7. Y'all hit the subscribe button, please. But I want to give my brother here, thank you. First time I've seen you, Tobias the Traveler. How are you?
Oh, my life is amazing. How are you?
Oh, well, clearly, because I'm admiring the up to the top to bottom. I done took you in
I
though.
see you.
I took you in though. Nice to have you here. What are your thoughts on the conversation tonight?
Well, you know what? Kevin's, passing was very meaningful to me, and I know it's very meaningful, to others. And when I first got the news, one of my buddies had hit me up, on a WhatsApp message. He said, "Hey, Twitter's going bananas. Did Kevin Samuels pass?" And I didn't know him personally, but I consumed a ton of his content.
Oh wow!
And it was very, very meaningful to me because most of his message I already knew, but no Black man had packaged it again in the way he did. Now, we always have these barbershop conversations. Me just, I fall into the high value man category and like all aspects of it that Kevin had defined. And when I heard him speak, just like when he listed it out, I'm like, good, okay, that's amazing for me. And other brothers that I know, this is just who we are. And for when his passing took place, it really hit home for me. I'm like, man, I know he was in his like early, probably to mid 50s, but though his presence, his delivery, his just his presence, it was commanding. And his sense of style, people really they would consume his information, they would consume his content, some with a grain of salt, some 100% of it, and others would just consume it just to give them something to talk about on their show. But it really, really resonated with myself and a lot of the men that I network with. So yeah, for him to be gone so early, I was like, whoa. And a couple of days ago, I know B2B or Before the Billions, he did a tribute to him. And when he started it started with the same song that, Kevin Samuels had, The Good Lies. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, goodness. It was nice to actually, see him, pay that tribute. But it is sad to see him go. I mean, he was still, I think, in his infancy of his growth. And I know like certain people in my network, they're like, well, he's never going to get as big. I'm like, man, he's skyrocketing. Look at the rocket ship he's on. Like when I discovered him just after, he did Average at Best, I looked back at all his whole catalog and I watched how he talked to men. Many people do not watch that content. You want to see someone go in on men, particularly Black men? Oh, he goes hard. Or even during Men's Week that he had, was it a year and a half ago, I believe it was. He when brothers, you call in, if you don't have it on, if you're not on point, you're gonna get roasted. That's just
men hating up.
Men, Black men, he was going to roast you.
Really?
So yeah, and that's a fact. If you're not trying to make yourself better, but you want, if you're asking a woman what she brings to the table, like, hold on, but you're living at your mama's house, right? And you're asking a woman, or you want a woman to submit, and you aren't that man. He will bring that to you front and center as a man, call you out on it, and destroy any facade that
So he was equal offending to both men and women who weren't realistic about what they were doing or how they were living versus the expectations of a significant other. Would you say that?
I think he would go harder on the men because he went at men for 3.5 years, along with, the fragrance list, his fragrance reviews. When men called in, he was not playing. He's like, okay, this is what it is. This is what you should be looking for. You belong here too, Black men in the corporate world, if you want to go that direction. That was one video I know he did that resonated with me. And, I've worked in corporate, for quite a while. And I like it, but I'm doing other things now, which has been, pretty good for me. I cannot complain. But yeah, it was great to really see him provide, that love, the guidance and direction that many of us never had when we were growing up, right? Because I came from a single mother. I'll tell anybody that. But where am I now? And the guidance that I'm actually providing my 17-year-old son with, yeah, we need more of it. We need more of it. And
I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Go
Sorry
for
to
it.
interrupt. I'm gonna ask you, and I gotta bring up Sandy B as we wrap.
Okay.
Back is closed. They saying you look like Kevin Samuels, all clean and bald headed, and nice and and well groomed. I'm not saying that, the chat is saying that, right? So
You can say that. What's wrong
no,
with
I
that?
ain't saying that. I'm just saying
I look
that-
better.
No,
You
the
got
chat-
two handsome men out here. Y'all are handsome men on this
yes, we gotta
platform.
recognize it when we
That's
see it.
right. Handsome.
DL, and I'm gonna bring up Sandy momentarily as my last guest. When you lie, women buy. When you lie, women buy. Okay, if you speak the uncomfortable truth, you will catch. Hey, okay. Thanks, DL. So I want to ask my brother here, Mr. Tobias, what specifically in KS's message helped you become the high value man, or did it have that type of impact? What was it that you took from it that you applied and started doing or doing differently in your life? The way you say it kind of helped shape you, but you knew some of it already because it was already being spoken in the barbershops, etc. But what did you find, most resonant?
Well, okay. I landed my first six-figure job in 2015 and have been there ever since. I was already there. The one thing in hit the bullet points, right, was establish the network, but not just establish it. For me, it was maintaining it. So some of my my connections, folk, I've lived around the world, they've lived around the world, and we actually just lost contact. So
Got
it was
it.
more about, oh hey, let's reach back out to that individual. We've had some great times together. Let's continue to create, or let's maintain those great times. Let's see each other once or twice a year, whether it be in Singapore or in Atlanta. Doesn't matter. Let's make that happen.
Mm-hmm. So making sure your network was strong, because your network, as they say, is your net worth. So actually nurturing relationships and pouring into them and investing in them so that hopefully you never know when your paths will cross. Okay, understood. What was the most powerful? And I'm bringing up Sandy B. You ready, Sandy? Last guess. What would you say as a man that you took away as your strongest and most memorable impact of KS?
Doing the work. And he stressed that. Always be willing to do the work. And as long as you do the work, then the outcome will serve you. That's
Okay,
the
doing
biggest
the work.
thing.
I'm gonna bring a lady into the convo now. Miss Sandy B, how you doing, sis? You coming in early? We got a show tomorrow, love.
Look, I saw you still on. I said, let me hop in, because every time I hop in
Yay.
these rooms that are talking about Kevin Samuels, it's just like, folks, let someone rest in peace.
Yeah.
Like, let someone rest in peace. I just wanted to say, it's amazing to see people rallying behind him and supporting his legacy and supporting the things that he put out there. I don't know much about him. He wasn't somebody that I followed. I'm a relatively new YouTuber, but I do recognize that he clearly had an impact. He clearly had a very strong following. I'm just interested to see how things play out, and hopefully there is somebody to step in and make sure that his legacy is preserved and the information and content that he has is also preserved. So hoping to see that.
Yeah, it had an impact. I think that's what I was trying to emphasize when I did the live show the very same night, that it was quite, Tobias, share your channel. All of the folks who are up here, share your channels in the chat. Y'all go support Courtney Michelle and Sandy B Law, the Learn Biz podcast, Kenarda, Tobias, everyone who's up here. This is the type of community I think Mr. Samuels envisioned based on what you guys have been describing. And again, I'll continue to do my homework so that I understand who you are talking about right now versus some of the sound bites. There has to be, again, more complexity to human beings. None of us is perfect, but I'm glad, again, we are shedding some light on a different side of the story. How did he impact you? What was his impact? How did you take his message? What was the legacy for you in your life? How did it help you build or not build or do things differently to become, a stronger man, husband, professional, woman, wife, a mom, any of that? It's very interesting, again, that so much of it has gotten lost in some of the private, feelings that people might have about their own situations. But I do think some of the historical nuances between Black men and Black women have kind of like like it has exacerbated our ability to talk to one another. Do you get what I'm saying? Like Kevin Samuels going to start that uncomfortableness and in the differences of opinion, like, or lack of mutual respect. I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. We're gonna wrap up the panel, y'all. I'm gonna what were you guys talking in the chat? Y'all seen something that say it was deactivated? What was deactivated? Did you guys see that? I'm behind. His channel not deactivated, is it?
I hope not, man. That would really.
No, I
see
just checked it
something,
a couple of
Gerard,
minutes
says
ago.
us. I hope somebody backed it up. I'm a little bit behind, guys, in the chat. You guys have been so gracious, and I appreciate all of my show super chats, and 007 being my show sponsor. I wanted to get that out. Thank you. Shout out to Tobias the Traveler, says BTB. Yes, crisis. Okay, so astute thinker. Okay, is that what we're talking about? Maybe his channel. Yeah.
No, his channel's still up.
Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat and I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to follow. Sorry. Yes, KS channel is still active. Okay.
Yeah, it's still there on my end too.
Okay,
so.
just making sure. The episodes that Kanardak talked about. Thank you, Michelle Denise, for dropping them in the chat. Y'all can go back and watch the episodes that he talked about. Yes, Gail. Thank you, Gail. At night in the building. St. Kevin Sandwich is still up. Okay, so that rumor averted. I'm like, where did that come from? Yes, we're talking with Sandy B tomorrow about his assets and digital assets and how you as a YouTuber and I as a YouTuber can protect ourselves. Like, this is a real thing. We're not going to be here forever. And what happens to it? Via probate law, via YouTube law. We're going to talk about it all. So tomorrow's show is at 7. So I want to give everybody a final. Oh, maybe that was a troll and I fell for it. Maybe that was a troll. I just got that might have been a troll. Sorry. Okay. Get smarter, Suzette. Okay. So I'm going to give everybody a final comment. Guys, I've enjoyed what Kevin Samuels meant to me as our theme tonight. I've enjoyed most definitely hearing from our beautiful guest, Miss Courtney Michelle, having had her personal experiences and her personal interpretations of what his message was, so that we can hear a unique and not so often shared opinion clearly in certain spaces. Not here, not on YouTube, but in other spaces. Maybe someone will find this and give him a second look. And maybe make their own interpretation based on what we're sharing tonight. So I'm going to go reverse order. Sandy, did you want to give other information? Anything else about tomorrow's show? Do you want to give us a sneak peek? A real short one about what we're going to talk about tomorrow with his assets and looking at his digital assets? Or say real quick about your channel too. How about that?
So my channel is Learn Biz, the podcast, where we spotlight Black entrepreneurs and we share some very interesting stories of, all types of different journeys in this entrepreneur space. We just completed our Entrepreneur Mindset Summit tonight, and it was really, really fantastic. We covered a lot of ground. So we're hoping to really put some education out there. In terms of the topic regarding Kevin Samuels and the digital assets, one of the major things that I want folks to understand is that, there are terms and conditions, and there are estate planning rules and regulations and state laws regarding how you can transfer assets. Please understand that you can't just eliminate terms and conditions by creating your documents. So
all right, don't give it away. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Praise God.
That's one of the big clashes.
They're going to have to tune in tomorrow because we're getting the lady lawyers on deck, the lovely lady lawyers, the pleasant lady lawyers, the smiling lady lawyers are going to be on deck tomorrow doing work. The sisters-in-law will be doing some legal analysis tomorrow. I can't wait, Sandy B. Fantastic. Drop your channel in the chat, my darling, so they can find you. Learn Biz is one word because I was looking, and there's a lot of Learn Bizes. Yes. So Learn Biz for them is one word. Learn and BIZ together, correct. The podcast. Good to see you. Can't wait for our show tomorrow.
Looking
forward.
Thank
you so much for coming through.
Guys.
All right, hon. I'll see you soon. Awesome. Good to see you. Can't wait for that show about assets. All right. Mr. Tobias the Traveler, I've dropped your channel in the chat. So has Gail. Final thoughts on your reflections, what Kevin Samuels meant, what his legacy will be. Any comments on that?
His presence, right, is only going to grow, right? I do believe that. Similar to, all right, well, like Kevin Samuels, I grew up doing martial arts, and I think about like Bruce Lee, and he passed. He only had 5 movies. A lot of people think there were more than that, but he only had 5. And he passed in 1973. After he passed is when he actually like exploded, and I think the same will be for Kevin Samuels. He has passed, and he was what received relative stardom in a very fast time period, and he did not hit his peak. And I think his presence on YouTube will explode in the next 2 or 3 months. Right now, I just looked again. He's at what, 1.45 million. He'll probably be at 2 million, 2.5 in the
Yeah,
next
it's
few
growing.
months, just because of his presence and his untimely departure
Yeah.
from us. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking to see it grow. I'm looking to see more people actually listen to understand, not just listen to respond. That's one thing. Even myself and Uncle Stu, we've had a lot of conversations on this in the back channels, and like I told him, like, people don't listen to understand; they listen to respond. They hear a couple of words and they're already forming their thoughts on what they want to say in response, versus okay, listening and getting it out there. But now that he's gone, and people can react to it, I still think his presence will expand, and that's only going to be a good thing for those that are actually interested, that want to understand us, Black men, our mind state, and where we are today and what we are looking for.
Interesting. And do you think, and this is on the spot, there will be another or someone who was already in the space that may fill his shoes, fill the void?
mm, there is a possibility. Definitely there's someone that could, if they want to.
You naming
I've
names or
you know
what,
what
Tobias? You naming names? What?
I can't say I know anybody, but I do have to say a couple of my friends have, like, they were, before Kevin Samuels got big. They were like, Tobias, why aren't you on YouTube? You have a commanding presence. You have a great
Mm-hmm.
voice and all the other good stuff. And yeah, I have my
We
small
agree.
YouTube
We
channel.
agree. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. But I look, my passion is traveling. Right. That's my thing.
Okay.
I love running around the world and will
Mhm.
continue to. So I doubt it'll be me, but if someone wants to step up and do it, I'm 100% in support of that. And if whatever I can do to help them achieve, their goals, I'm willing to, support that.
I love the way he skirted. I love it. He didn't tell me who he was thinking of, but I respect that. And I respect that you are being your best self and sharing your knowledge with this space. Go follow Tobias the Traveler. You're welcome up anytime, my brother. Good to have you on. And I hope, we'll see if your prediction comes true. If he does just get bigger in, in his passing. Go ahead. Last word. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, just gonna say thank you. I appreciate you, giving me the time to come up and speak, and to all the other panelists, Kennedy, I am Courtney Michelle. Very nice, connecting with you all also. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you, my
All right,
brother. Appreciate
bye.
that. High value men coming through. Appreciate you, brother. You're welcome anytime. I'll see you very soon. Kennard, your final thoughts. Same questions. Like, is there one? Can there be one to fill his shoes?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
He was one of a kind, and that's how it should be. There's a person that comes along and they fit that thing, and then it moves on, and then someone else does the same, and it's a domino. The most important. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Something just popped in my head because I'm on a journalistic mindset.
Sure.
There's going to be people that say his legacy will be tarnished because of how he left. Do you believe that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Explain.
There's always ebbs and flows with this kind of thing. There's going to be people who like you, then people who don't like you. I mean, that's with everything. I don't know if there's going to be a destruction of what he achieved. Well, as long as his YouTube channel stays up, I think people should start downloading his stuff, maybe, and have your own catalog, because YouTube is not forever, so you might want to start doing that. But take what's useful, dismiss the rest. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't pedestalize anybody.
Right.
Whether you agree or disagree, you take what's useful, dismiss the rest. And I think he had said he was going to try and write a book. Well, the book has already been written with his episodes.
Right.
So for the men, I would say just continue to be inspired and do the work. And then for the ladies, look at those old videos and take some notes and see how it impacts your life. See if it works. That's it.
Yeah, appreciate you always. A deep reflection from this brother. I'm glad you can come on tonight. Oh, okay, wrong view. Let me back up. Appreciate you being up. Kennardoc also does content, poet, actor, out on the West Coast, and interesting vibe on his channel. So drop your channel, please. I appreciate you being here, and thank you for sharing your reflections tonight. Appreciate you,
Thank you
brother.
to
Bye
you
now.
both. Thank you.
See you. Welcome up all the time. You know that. So Courtney Michelle, lady of the hour, speaking her truth, y'all, from her firsthand experience. It's been eye-opening. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. And I want to give you the last word in terms of legacy, in terms of what people should do to really understand, in your view, who this person was, what his message really, meant, or, the true intent behind it. Final thoughts from you, my dear.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. You got it. I'm coming back. Okay. You ain't I'm coming back.
Girl, I'm already getting email. I literally just got 2 emails. Can you connect me with Courtney? Can you connect me?
Oh, really?
Yes. You that serious. You that chick.
I'm
So
really
trust
not.
me. I love it. I love it.
I'm not. But I would say this. Kevin Samuels is still impactful in my life. You cannot kill a movement, and he's a movement. Was an episode of his where, chastising or criticizing a couple of women on there, and there was a white woman that came on there, and he checked the dog shit out of her. What you're not going to do, white lady, is come over here and think you're going to talk to black women like this. No. Because I'm about black love, and I'm about black family. And this is why I speak the way you do. However, I'm going to knock you down off this panel, because what you're not going to do is come for something, not my women. Kevin Samuels considered black women his. We belong to black men. Black men belong to us. That's what he wanted. Now, whether you liked his tone or not, that's what he totally believed in. And his tone changed the space that we're in. It changed lives. It got people married. Got people to lose a couple pounds.
Okay, my bad.
Okay. So you cannot kill a movement. MTR did an amazing show. I think he just reposted it a couple days ago. And looking back at O'Shea's old stuff, he did his very first interview with Kevin Samuels, and to see the transformation of 4 years of his image and how he projected is what he was. He wasn't just saying the stuff, he believed it. Image matters. How you portray yourself, how you talk, how you walk, how you dress. Women, your image matters. Carrying yourself like a woman. Basking in your femininity, basking in being a woman, not wanting we're made to be a helpmate, not a leader. And it's okay, because everybody can't be a pilot. You got to have a co-pilot. Let the man be a man. I think that a lot of men learned from him that respect is important. And you hold yourself with dignity, you level up, and you demand respect. And as a man, you deserve it. And as a woman, that's what your man wants, is for you to respect him and not try to be like him. So there would never be another Kevin Samuels. His legacy will forever live on. I'm going to make sure that I personally do my part for it to. And that's not only speaking the way that I do, but it's also living the way that I'm supposed to. So I can't be pro-marriage and disrespect men. I can't be pro-marriage and not be married. So, I got to walk it like I talk it. And that's why he's impactful to me. So there would never be another Kevin Samuels. He's a diamond. And I personally will truly, truly miss him. I love you, Kevin.
Sis, I'm verklempt. I don't know. This is so much because, like I said, I'm more just digesting it as you are his friend. You were his friend. Like, just seeing a person be the best they can be and then lose him so abruptly. It is a heartfelt thing, but beyond that, the message, the way you describe its impact for yourself as helpful and empowering.
Yeah.
I think that for this space, for a lot of what is being said, is going to be a fresh look for many people, especially coming from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there are going to be, I'm sure, tons of comments. Batman, thank you. You put it on for the team. Thank you, EBH. Black Show saw the super chat. Thanks for the love, my brother. Bigging us up. Thank you very much. Shout out to two of my favorite women on YouTube. I see a Beauty and Brains clap. Hey, we
Beauty and Brains.
We received that. I knew we would get along, but I just was like, oh wow, this woman is unapologetically herself. Mm-hmm. And open and honest. And, I think, again, with the same vein, we both have that intent of trying to uplift our community. And sometimes, again, it doesn't taste sweet. It tastes bitter. It can hurt. It can feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think we need both. They would like to say, Sue gonna say it the nice way. Sue gonna give it to you like, okay, here's your candy. But in the middle, is what you really need. And again, everybody has their, way, right? If it's easier for you to get it through, I am Courtney Michelle. Hey, if you like it kind of with a little bit of sugar on top, I get you. But I think we want the same end. I think we do want the same end, which is to see the Black family restored, Black men and Black women together in harmony, in peace, in love, building the Black community back to our rightful place. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Big up. I am Courtney Michelle. I'm getting a sound machine. Sound machine. That's next for me. I appreciate you again, sis. Thanks for making the time.
Thank you so much.
And coming in and sharing your thoughts on this now man that will live on and how he impacted you and this space. All right, girl. I will see you soon. We'll talk.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we will. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Y'all give it up for Courtney Michelle. Go subscribe. Go hang out. Y'all, what an interesting perspective. I literally felt, like a student sitting back and listening because everybody has different opinions on this gentleman. And we're only hearing, I think, in a lot of ways, one-sidedness. So it's not an endorsement. It's not to detract, but it's to allow other people who experience him in a whole new and different way than maybe some of us who have only gotten the clips up until now, only gotten kind of like the crazy stories, the mayhem until now, to see that there were others who also saw him in a different way. Shout out to I am Courtney Michelle for bringing her truth, being a impact in this space herself, a dynamo in this space herself. I'm grateful that she had the time tonight. Like I said, tomorrow we have a wonderful show with Sandy B of the Learn Biz podcast, talking about who will get Kevin Samuels' digital assets as we see the subscribers climb, as we know money is still being generated on YouTube and other places. What happens, y'all? And I think we need to talk what she knows. Her specialty is probate, estate planning. Black folk, we need to, get in line, get up to speed, especially if we have kids and other people that depend on us, to talk about those uneasy conversations and to expressly talk about what could or could not possibly happen under the circumstances with Mr. Kevin Samuels, body of work, his catalog, and what we should be thinking about as content creators. So I know you guys will find it helpful. Come back tomorrow, 7 p.m. I stream mostly Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, but I'm switching it up. I have an appointment Thursday, so I'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, 7 p.m. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like and notification bell, if you will, so you'll know when I'm live. But tomorrow should be a very interesting show. Again, shout out to Boss Attorney Bree, show yesterday about men victims of domestic violence. She brought her expertise from family law into that conversation, got really deep with me. Wanted, again, the perspective that we normally hear. I tried to go a little bit deeper. So we did a wonderful chat conversation. At one point, criminal law class, legal crim law. Shout out to Lamont. He wanted to go straight into the burdens of proof. And I'm like, Lamont, we can't teach criminal law here. But it was very interesting, very, very passionate debate. And I'm grateful, Boss Attorney Bree. I just want to shout her out. Shout out to the ladies who are collaborative. Shout out to the ladies who look out and are unafraid of, speaking their truth. So as a student listening today, she has indeed, expanded my curiosity, piqued it even more towards finding out more about Mr. Samuels. And again, thank you for, being a part of this type of conversation where we can delve a little deeper. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe. Why not? And if you want to support, y'all know what to do. Thank you so much, $ Suzette Speaks. All y'all who have already given to the super chats, thank you. Shout out to my sponsor, 007, and everyone who has given tonight. Thank you for sponsoring my content. Shout out to Patreon. We got a chat coming up with the one and only Mr. Bernard S. as our special guest this month. I think I'm also going to go live for Patreon probably, I don't know, Friday or Saturday. So I'll let you know. Chit-chatting, a little bit of behind the scenes of my life, as well as where I am in my personal development walk, bringing you special guests that are not on YouTube to help you with your, self-growth, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, mental health, right? I love that stuff. So go back and watch some of my old shows if you want some empowerment. I have different playlists. Y'all like when I talk relationships and marriage and all that good stuff. So we got a little bit of everything going on right now. I'm small enough where I'm exploring topics that I just care about. So check me out on Patreon if you want to support. You know what to do. Thank you so much to I Am Courtney Michelle for making tonight possible. Probably got me my, besides lead, largest concurrent views. Thank you. That says a lot. You bring power to this space, my superwoman. So thank you for your candor. Thank you for, being bold enough to say, I learned and what you learned, and to speak up about it, because I think it will empower others to do it. So love him again, or despise what you've seen of him. Just take a second look is what this show is about. Take a second look. I'm not, again, advocating or whatever you feel, respect to everyone, right? You're entitled to your opinion. But wanted to open up more of a conversation than I had been seeing on mainstream media. That was the purpose here. So if you enjoyed, hit the like button before you go. Appreciate everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Yes, peace and blessings to you. Again, Patreon member, Miss AKA Lady. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate you. DL, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be here all night reading y'all comments. So I'm going to go to my bed so I can thank you, 007. Appreciate that, Ronald. Thank you. New subs in the building. The Miss Creative Team Replay. It's all good, girl. We wrapping up, but we had a fantastic conversation with I Am Courtney Michelle. So again, go back and watch yesterday's show with Boss Attorney Bree. Very good content. Thank you, Boss Attorney Bree. Tomorrow, Sandy B. The ladies doing it for me this week. Next Monday, I have the Intentional Millionaire is going to be my guest. Monday at 7, week from going into next week. Can't even look at my calendar to tell y'all everybody, but go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Intentional Millionaire coming up that Monday. Oh, then I'll be on Learn Biz podcast that Tuesday with Sandy B and them. Thursday, we got a lineup for y'all coming up. So just go ahead and hit the subscribe is the easiest way to know what's happening. So yes, that was a great show with Boss Attorney B. Thanks, RM. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Shout out to all my moderators. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you enjoyed it. Team Replay, hit the like button. Glad you guys went along with me on this journey tonight to hear a different side of the Kevin Samuels story. Again, love him or leave him. I'm grateful. Thank you, Sandy B. Girl, we gonna be on this show tomorrow. Appreciate the love. Thank you very much on the Final Sopa chat. Appreciate you, sis. I am looking forward to our conversation tomorrow. So if you like a little law, a little social justice, personal development, and some current events mixed with relationships, welcome to my channel. Shout out to all my speakers, all my subscribers. We call y'all speakers. Shout out to all my speakers holding me down. I won't leave the stream open. I did that the other night. No miscreative. I learned my lesson. Accidentally left the stream going for, but I'm going to go tell you which show. Appreciate you, Sunbreeze. Thank you so much again to all my mods, all my new subscribers. Appreciate each and every one of you. And we're going to leave this up. Michelle Denise, thank you for coming up. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.